started. The Captain Coder at the helm. Bean water is ready.
You know what you're ready, folks.
Say we will learn a lot.
Gonna learn so much.
He loves the questions.
You know I love
He
them.
loves to sing.
I love that
Join our
singing.
Discord.
Don't forget about the
Follow
Discord.
him.
Click that heart, folks. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you happen to be in the world. Captain Coder here on this beautiful Sunday, folks. It's so wonderful to be here. It's such a great day. Any day I can wake up and code with the crew is a beautiful day, and today is going to be a beautiful day because of you, wonderful, beautiful, incredible people out there. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Dramokes, I hope your eye's okay. Proton just came home from your granddaughter's twins' 4th birthday. Congratulations on your granddaughter's birthday. That sounds so awesome. I hope you're doing well, my friend. I'm glad you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here, Proton. We appreciate you. Folks, if you guys don't know Proton Pig, incredible Commodore 64 coding guru, musician, graphician. Go check him out, give him some love. You won't be disappointed. Flavius wants a hat. Flavius wants a hat. Let me get my hat box. I wasn't ready. I was ill prepared for this moment, Flavius. Let's do it. Let's get our hat box up. Let's get our hats going. Here we go. Here we go. Can we do it? Can we do it? I've never done this before. Flavius, this could be the first. This could be the first. Get that clip button right here. We're going to do it for you. See, the magic of the clip is I can do this 7, 8, 9 times. And we only have to clip the time that I actually get it. Here we go. Oh, my hands never came off that. We did it. First try. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. We got it. Thank you so much for the hat, Flavius. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Folks, it is Sunday. I'm having such a beautiful day. I'm still recovering from the corona. I got the coronavirus. I'm still recovering a little bit. Still got a little bit of something. I don't know if you guys can hear. I feel a little bit of strain when I'm talking in my voice. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I can feel it a little bit. I get so excited. I start talking. So we'll see how long we can go today. Probably, my goal is to go for 3 hours today. We'll see what happens. Freedom Forge Studios, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on your first, my friend. Freedom Forge, hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you happen to be in the world. Hope you're doing wonderful. Clayman, welcome back to the stream. Clayman, I hope you're doing well also. G, it's wonderful to see you. Mars9T, how's it going? How's the release of your game going? Max, thank you so much. I'll be feeling better soon. I'm at 90. I keep saying I'm at like 92%. Yesterday I think I was at 89%. Today I think I'm at 92%, 91%. We're getting close. We're approaching that 100%. It feels like the last little bit of a sickness always takes a little bit longer. Yeah, I got a little bit of something here, like in the top. I have a little bit of a cough now, but I have been coughing a lot less, which is awesome. We went out. I don't have I'm not contagious anymore, so we checked contagious. So I actually finally got to go out. I've been cooped up inside for like 12 days. Finally got to go outside yesterday. Go spend some time with some cool people. Did some painting yesterday. I got to paint yesterday, which was super fun. So I enjoyed that greatly. Max, thank you so much for the well wishes. I appreciate you and welcome to the stream, my friend. Marvelous Sunday morning. Let's go. How's your game coming along, Freedom Forge? Max Payne 720 has followed the captain on this beautiful day. Thank you so much for the follow, Max Payne and Shin. Welcome back to the stream. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Dramokes, so sorry about your eye, my friend. Folks, watch out. Here it comes. Watch out. Oh,
you in the back. Pay attention.
Did I get you? I'm sorry if I got you. I didn't mean to get you in the eye there, Dramokes. The secret, Dramokes, why your eye is so big? It's not my fault your eyes are so big. They take up the whole screen. Infinite Coder, I hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Distant Answer, it's a pleasure to see you once again. Zaft, welcome back. Flavius, you know I love you, my friend. That Gamer, congratulations again. I think you got a mug yesterday. Is that true? My face is glued to the screen. Ba-doom-ts, ba-doom-ts. I like it. That's the way we like it. You know, I was thinking, look at this lighting difference. When I wear that hat, is it just me? Maybe not. I felt like my face colors, my tones, the tones of my face. The hat's actually blocking this light over here from hitting my face. It's going good, maybe not sale-wise, but no disasters. Awesome, awesome. Folks, be sure to go check out Mars9T. Just released his game, The Observer. The Observer, go check it out. Give him a follow. Hit that heart. You see that heart? This is an Unreal 5 game, right? Made in Unreal. Click that heart. No, not the Overseer. Sorry, not the Observer. I got excited. Look. The Overseer. Go give it a love. Mars90, drop a link to your Steam page for us if you will. Or do I have it? Let's make a command for it. Proton, thank you again so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful day. Gallo, it's always a pleasure. Max Payne, welcome to the crew, my friend. It's wonderful to have you. And Shin, I hope you're having a beautiful day. Congratulations on your number 12. Not too bad. See, don't use weird names. Look, you should have just called it Mars90. Mars90. Getting the UI stuff up has been pretty cool, but I think today we're taking a break from UI. It's not the most fun. It can be UI can be painful, right? Doing UI stuff, I always feel like I love the programming. I love the programming. That's why I always lean so heavily into doing the programming, doing the unit codes, that type of stuff. No, I thought, Zaft, I thought you were saying I love you. I thought that was an exclamation point, but it's just an I. I thought Zaft was telling me how much he loved me. Look at this, folks. I thought this here. Thought that was an exclamation point. I was so excited. I was like, Zaft, you love me. You really love me. But instead, it was Zaft loves UIs. Zaft doesn't love. No one loves me. No one loves me. I got no love for the captain. I'm just kidding. I love you guys so much. Look. We got the captain heart emote hosted over there. I love you. Happy now, Shinta. I'm so happy. Look, do I look happy? Look. Oh, you make me feel so fun. You make me feel so gritty. You make me feel so gritty. I'm sorry. Yeah, you make me feel so great and grand. That's what I tried to say. Apparently, I feel gritty though. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Jero Von Weisen, welcome back to the stream. Hope you're having a beautiful day, my friend. It's so Freudian slip cavity. You make me feel so creepy, crumbs. No, you guys make me feel wonderful. You guys are so incredible. It's such a pleasure to have you here. What are we working on today, folks? Well, we've been working on this character creator class project. I want to see if we can come up with a way to do it. And I got to do some refactoring here. Apparently, I have a bug here. That's too bad. I was going to show you what we have so far. I broke it. Okay. So we have this character creator, like so. We can change these different elements of our monster over here. And I've decided I want to revamp how we're doing this. I want to revamp how we're doing this because, so I'm thinking about what are the goals of this project? Why am I doing this project? I don't want this to be, the purpose of this project is to be a class project. I'm designing a class project for my students. It's gonna be their first time using Godot, no programming background. So what are the outcomes? What am I trying to teach my students with this project? I want to teach them about the goal of this project is to use a bunch of different UI elements. Speaking of UI elements, Freedom Forge, the goal of this project is learn about different UI elements, not necessarily about writing the most efficient, the most versatile, the most reconfigurable code. And we got a bug there on our body. And so I actually want to come in and revamp how I'm doing some of these scripts. I'm feeling like the scripts are getting a little bit gnarly. I get a little bit unfun to deal with. I have this top level script monster here we're doing, and really I want to be modifying these things internally, the sprites inside the legs. So we're gonna talk about, I'm gonna take my monster here, and I actually think I want to add my controls kind of into this here. And so we're gonna go ahead and take a look at that. We're gonna take a look at that today. I want to revamp this a little bit rather than using this tab component. I kind of want to see if we can make it instead. The tabs could be fine as well, but I kind of want to make it instead if we click on, I'm wondering how hard it would be to do this. When we click on, we could still have these here, but building sort of like a menu system. Now you have a script kiddie instead. You believe in yourself. I do believe in myself, Rajarsh. I know you have a script kiddie inside you. Yeah, I do believe in myself. I do believe in fairies. I do. So we're gonna design this class project. We're gonna keep going here. I want to rethink some of how this layout works. And so I have a lot of this sort of repeated code. These are little tiny repeated scripts, but the main thing, the main purpose of this project is to teach students about playing with the UI. So I want these scripts to be maybe a little bit simpler, but understand connecting to them. So we have a bunch of scripts here. Every one of these is a button that works on a different component in our monster. And instead, one of the things I'm realizing that, well, each one of these, let's talk about using exports in this instead. So I want to come through, I'm going to revamp this. We're going to delete a bunch of this stuff. We're going to get rid of some of these. Quite a few of these actually. We're gonna remove all of these. It's gonna break a lot of stuff. We can always go back because we have this in our Git repository, so we can always go back. I'm gonna go ahead and take these scripts off here. And instead, in our monster, I want to actually add individual scripts to our arms. So rather than having a high-level monster script, and we'll have one of these as well, the arms will have a control that says, okay, well, what are the different things I want to be able to modify on my arms? And then specifically our arms, when something sets the sprite, we're gonna change, when we change the value, we're gonna change it. So I'm gonna actually put a script on arms, I'm gonna put a script on legs, I'm gonna put a script on body, eyes, these different things. And we're gonna actually have potentially multiple scripts attached to them for doing these things. What's up, Max? Oompa Loompa in the closet. No, I don't have any Oompa Loompas. I don't have any Oompa Loompas in the closet. Only thing in my closet are the skeletons. And we're not gonna show you guys those skeletons. We're gonna keep those closet doors closed so you don't see any of those skeletons in there. Okay, so let's start off here. I want to make a script specifically on my body that I can reuse which with different things here. Skeletons are okay. Depends on the context of the skeleton. You got to be careful. You got to be careful with skeletons. They can be a little bit scary. They can be a little bit creepy. They can be a little bit damaging to your reputation if you're not too careful. Yeah. Okay. In fact, we almost don't need a script. If I come to him, can I question? Can I take coax with the bonus hat? Let's get one hat. Let's get two hats. Thank you for the hats. One hat. Two hat. Let's do it. Thank you for the hats, coax. Appreciate your hattage. Now we're gonna be twice as powerful, twice as great, twice as grand. So our maker here, in our monster, I actually want to have our controls available on this. So I kind of want to make it, if you click on a component, it'll pull up a menu that we can edit and modify. I think that'd be cool. Skeletons are from multiverse inside a simulation. They are also unlimited revival unlocked. It's a lot of words. There's a lot of stuff going on there that I'm not sure I understand, but I'll trust you on that one. I'll trust you on that one. So I got to keep reminding myself, what is the goal of this? The goal of this project is to learn about playing with UI, the different UI things, sliders, buttons, toggles. That's what we're going to be playing with. Developing something like this, what have you found to be most optimal design for teaching spreading script as much as possible, most optimized? So Freedom Forge, one of the things you have to keep in mind when you're teaching someone a lesson, most students are really only capable of learning one new concept, one or two new concepts or skills per assignment, per activity. So you want to be careful not to overload with all sorts of new information as you go. And so my goal on this project, I want to sit down and say, what is the purpose? What is the takeaway? What is the main thing I want to get to my students in this project? And I want that takeaway to be using UI elements. That's my goal here on this project, using UI elements and playing with the signals on UI elements to modify something else. So I feel like I was actually over abstracting from the start, and I tend to do this. I tend to over there. What is the simplest way I can do this without pulling things into separate scenes? So I put my monster in sort of its own scene. Instead of doing that, let's instead pull this out, focus instead on doing specific things together. So you'll see I had like this other scene, I have this monster over here, I have this scene here, and then talking with this component to that component is challenging. So the goal here is how do we simplify things to focus on that one concept. Thank you for the hat, Jiro. Let's get another hat added to the stack. Let's do it. Max says, I'm learning game dev 2 in Godot. I'm trying to make an RPG. Math is not my strong suit. Thank you for the hat. And help from GPT. Now I'm feeling bad about it. Don't feel bad about it. It's all about it's a learning process, right? It's about learning and coding and growing and leveling up those skills as you go. I would say don't shy away from the math. Don't say, look, everyone, here's one of the things that I find so funny about math. One of the things I think is really interesting about math is that people feel like they're bad at math when it turns out that math is just not a really fundamental part of like human nature. And so teachers will often introduce concepts being like, all right, this is a really hard concept. And they come out and they say, this thing is hard. And immediately that sets you up for failure. It turns out it's nothing in mathematics is really hard. It's, do you have the foundations, all the things necessary to understand that one more little unit of information? It's all built. Math is a ladder, exactly, Gallo. So you have to, it's all about foundations. Like, well, it happens that this has like 90 rules going into making this one thing make sense. It's not that those 90 rules are hard. It's that the combination of them can feel absolutely overwhelming when you're trying to do it, when you don't necessarily have leveled up into it. And there's a lot of pressure in our public school systems and in our different school systems to get people there as fast as possible. Freedom, I don't know if I answered your question, but I hope I answered your question. It comes down to like, how do we want to do it? If I was doing this from scratch, I'd probably build, there's like a couple things I want to do here. If I was writing this for myself, I'd probably do it in a very, not very different, but relatively different. You'll notice I have these tabs here. These should almost be their own little thing. I kind of want to start fresh here. And I want my monster maker to all be one scene. It needs to be able to communicate with the different components within it. And so my maker here, I really want to take this. Does anyone know? Editable children. There we go. That's what I want. I want it to be able to access these things like so in our editor, and now we can connect these. This is exactly what I wanted. It's exactly what I wanted. Rather than having my monster script have all these controls on it, I want my editor components to be able to talk directly to the different pieces here. Kilted, welcome back to the stream. Congratulations on your number 14, my friend. Not too shabby. Teach your mom about WhatsApp. It can be tough to learn new things. Yeah, we have to learn applied math as a dev. Teacher tries to teach theoretical math, which might be inevitable. I dropped out of IT school back in '98, didn't understand anything about learning databases from books. My first full-time job was a database engineer for 2 years. Things finally clicked. I can't do math, being developed for over 25 years. I don't necessarily think you can't do math. That feels, maybe. It's just not your forte. It doesn't come natural to you. And I don't think math actually comes natural to anyone. What's going on today? We are continuing to work on our monster creator here. And I'm coming in and we're redesigning how we do these different components. So we're doing a monster creator. My goal and I broke everything. So we gotta unbreak everything. Yeah, so I broke a bunch of stuff. We're gonna have to go in and delete. Oh boy, maybe I shouldn't have done this. I need to get rid of all of the scripts on these things. Or I want to write one script to rule all of these things. Right now there's a bunch of different scripts. Does anyone know if there's a way to easily get rid of that? Be careful with language. This is a PG-11 teen stream. So we gotta be, we're gonna be kind with our words, not aggressive with them. So I do teach at a school for ages 10 to 14, and I don't want anyone who finds us, who knows me in real life, to feel like this stream is accessible to them. Yeah. So Sorry, I didn't quite understand that. Yeah, but yeah, take that math. It's okay if you don't have it. Just, ask questions. Don't hesitate to get help from other people. I think a lot of people get embarrassed and don't want to ask for help. Their way to come through. All right, here's really what I want to do. Can I select? I want to select everything. We're just going to remove scripts from everything. I want to remove the script from everything. Here we go. It's so interesting. I don't have a clear button here. Shy programmer with the hat. Let's get another hat. No worries, Raja. Thank you so much for the hat, Shy programmer. I just letting you know that in my stream, I want to keep the language safe and clean. For what it's worth, rough language kind of makes me uncomfortable. No worries though. I know nothing was meant by it. There was nothing bad meant by it. I would like to clear the script on all of these. On literally all of these. Does anyone know an easy way to do this? We're gonna clear, and then I have this as a special scene. That's interesting. I think I need to have some really bad, I've made some really poor decisions here. Does anyone know, is there a way for me to see how this happens to be a not a signal, but a sub scene, like a sub scene here? Is there a way to unpack this? I'd like to take this scene, make local. There we go. That's what I really want to do. I want to make these all local. No worries. The moment just before you notice that your perfect abstraction comes back to haunt you, Nixa, it's so bad. It's so bad. And it wasn't a perfect abstraction from the start. It was one of these things where I didn't really know. I'm in the prototype phase. Zaf, that wasn't quite what I wanted. I actually want to delete this scene altogether. Caden, welcome into the stream. Never knew you streamed. Well, now you know. Caden is silly. Welcome to the stream. Caden is silly. Just followed the captain today. Caden is silly. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome into the stream. Happy to have you here on this beautiful Sunday. Hope you're having a beautiful day, my friend. And Nixa, welcome into the chat. I hope you are also having a beautiful day. All right, yeah, so we're coming through. We're just redesigning this. Again, what is the goal? What is the purpose of this assignment? What is the purpose of this project? The purpose of this is to have students learn about using UI elements, not necessarily about writing the perfect abstraction, about writing the perfect clean code. The purpose of this is to hook it up here. My dad has been amazing. Found a new streamer to watch. Let's go. Welcome in, Caden. Happy to have you here. Yeah, we stream most days. If you want to find our schedule, it changes throughout the year because I'm a teacher. And when my schedule changes, when my teaching schedule changes, I have to adjust there. But if you join the Discord, there is a scheduled channel to show it in your local time when I stream. So these days I'm streaming Friday through Wednesday. I take Thursday off because I go out on Wednesday nights, and then I'm usually too tired on Thursday to stream. To be honest, script GPT provide, yeah, so that's what you got to be careful when you use Chat GPT. That's the biggest thing. All right, so we're gonna get rid of this. I'm rewriting all of my scripts here. What I think I want is, rather than having scripts on my monster body here, instead I want these to reference inside and just modify these directly. So we're gonna add in a script that knows how to change these based on button press. Every abstraction is perfect, so you need to change the code. Yeah, so how do you design things with that in mind? No worries, my friend. It's great to see you here on this beautiful, beautiful Sunday. But yeah, we stream around this time most days, except Thursday. GPT is I have mixed feelings about GPT. I think it's a really useful tool in many situations, but it's kind of a dangerous, it's kind of a dangerous tool because it gets things wrong so often. That makes it a little bit dangerous to use. Okay, And we're just removing all of these scripts here. And I'm not even sure I want to be using this tab container anymore, right? So the idea is like, how can we write a project where we use a bunch of different things here for working with our monster? And so I kind of want to think about the interaction that the user has with this to do things, but I've gone through and I've deleted these scripts. Let's come find our scripts in here. I'm going to get monster controller go away. We're going to start refactoring a little bit here, and body part container go away. All right, so we have that done. Khan Academy uses OpenAPI, or is there a Khan Academy course on using OpenAI API? So Push Toy, I did a project, I did a class. In this class, you were only allowed to use code that was generated by AI. You couldn't modify the code. You were not allowed to modify the code. You were not allowed to write code on your own. You could only use code that was produced by AI. You could change your prompt, you could modify your prompt. And it turns out that was like basically impossible to write anything non-trivial. And so it was just an experiment of like, how good is AI? And it turns out that most of these, large language models, this was last term. This was in the spring. It was like 4 months ago. Just finished 2 months ago, actually. It turns out it's really hard to get AI to do anything non-trivial without having to modify that code yourself or having to write chunks of code yourself if you use only AI. So that is one thing I will say. It's nice teaching out just to ensure to write explain to me as if I was a fifth grader. Freedom Forge, I've heard good things about it. I'm not saying it's not a useful tool. I've heard good things about it. Man, I hate that I have to go through and right click on each one of these individual, make local. I don't even know if I'm gonna be using this actually. Make local, make local. Oh, well, I teach, so don't worry about that. It's hard to actually make my classes specifically because I work at a school. I work for a school. Yeah, I think for generating code, it's not great. I think using it as like a Google search, as like an internet search is not bad. Okay. So one thing I want to do here, let's see. What is the thing I want to do here? And that's exactly, that's the perfect type of thing to ask it about. To say like, help me understand vectors. Create a lesson for me to understand vectors. What is a vector? How do they work? And then the context of vectors is important. Okay. One of the things, the body here is sort of the easiest one to conceptualize. I want to add in a couple things for our body. Let me do a commit here. Actually, let me branch off here. Check out -b. We're gonna do refactor here. Feet, remove scripts. We're gonna consider a new refactor here. I want to avoid, one of the things I think I want to avoid is specifically having a top level. Let me make this local as well. We do have these references in here. When I click, so one of the concepts we want to teach here is when you find yourself doing something over and over again, that is usually a way, something that says, oh, hey, we need to simplify something. So that's one thing I could do. Notice I have sort of like this repeated pattern here of this body, arms, legs. Each one of these has body, has a margin, has a H box, has a body, has these things inside of it. So how can we separate this out into reusable components? So the question is that a thing I want to have be a part of this project? If not, we can just keep going with this here. Can keep going with this. I kind of want to have these reusable components not necessarily be in these tabs like this. I want to have a thing where we click, I want to have some buttons, we click select a body part. And part of me wants to make it so you can actually click on the body parts to modify. So I think I'm going to hide this over here. And I actually want to see if I can do it where we click on the body part and it pulls up some contextual information about it. So for example, the body of our monster actually has different modifiers. It only has one sprite that we modify. The arms work differently. It has 2 sprites that get modified. We also want to be able to modify a rotation on those arms, a height on those arms where they appear top to bottom and where they appear left to right. So there's different things that our arm needs to be able to be modified. Those are going to be similar to the legs and the antenna, but different than the body. The eyes will be similar, but eyes won't have a color picker. So we kind of need a way to compose a tool for modifying these. So let's play around with, just so I can understand it a little better, what my arm picker would sort of look like, or arm editor. So I'm going to create a thing here. I'm going to add a child node. We're going to just start by adding, I'm going to add in I really like our margin container here. We're going to undo that, but I'm going to hide the tab container. This is a thing that we might reuse later. And then we're going to come in and I'm going to add into this. The issue I found hard to understand was how to get one character body 2D to go to the position of another character body when I entered the area 2D of the goblin. For me, my head hurt and the fact that I didn't know much about Godot functions and things too. Yeah, so the math in there can be like really tricky sometimes, right? And so understanding how geometry and algebra play together can be useful. Not 100% necessary, but can be useful. I'm going to add in here a container. So if we come down to our controls, I want to add in a container. This is going to be a container that flow containers. I want one that flows from top to bottom. So I actually think I want a V-box container. It's going to have our elements flow from the very top to the bottom downward. So you have a V-box. What are the things that our arm can have? It's going to have a color picker. So our arms can have a color picker in them. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add in a color picker button. Color picker button. Okay, it's going to have a color picker button. It's going to have a slider for the positions for the arms up and down. Hunted Storm, welcome back to the stream. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Congratulations on your win yesterday, by the way. Fantastic entry. I hope you're as proud of it as you should be. All right, slider. Slider. Ooh, what's it called? Oh, I spelt it wrong. Slider. So we're gonna have an H slider for going left and right. Let's add in can I make this be wider? Theme, constants, theme, layout, minimum size. Yeah, so I've been saying the minimum size is 600 by 300, something like that. So we have our V-box. We have our color picker button. It's a little bit too wide. Can I make this taller? Let's go with 30 pixels. I want this to be 30 by 30. So I think this button here, add a label on it as well. Very happy you guys enjoyed it. If it's very stressful to edit together with 2 hours to go in the jam, it can be that way, yeah. Rajesh, sorry about that. Let me fix that for you. Ignore bot. That's just there to prevent, bot. I need to make this synonymous here. I always do ignore bot first, I think. If you want to, you can also share that with us on Discord as well. So, Rajarsh, what I would ask is, which did you modify any of the code outside that was generated, or did you only use code that was generated by AI? So that's the real question. Did you modify any of the code that was written? Did you change a variable name? Did you change a number? No, it's 100% AI. Okay. All right, we're gonna have a slider here. Only generation, that's pretty impressive. I have another slider. So we have height, width, and then rotation. These are gonna be the 3 sliders that we have here. I'm gonna write in, and then we probably have one that's like a sprite as well. So, but I'm gonna add that in a moment. This is my initial thought here. So we have a color picker button. Excuse me. You must be really good with your prompts. Yeah, that said, I didn't click on what the app is doing. We want to add in some labels. Label. Okay. And this one's going to be color. And I kind of want these going side by side. Color. I really want these. All right, so let's reparent these to go left to right. So we're going to make this an HBox container. So it goes left to right like that. So we have our label and then the button. This button, I want it to be a little bit bigger. We got to be careful. Holy cannoli, 1 second. Thank you so much for the bot follows, you insane person. All right, give me just a second here. Got to disable that. I don't know why someone would do that. It's, give me a second. Bear with me just a moment. We got to turn that off. All right, there we go. Chat should be fine now. All right, if anyone's actually following, so sorry about that, but welcome into the stream. Hope you're having a beautiful day. I don't understand some people. Okay, let's keep going here. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, I'm getting followed by it. That's okay though. Some people just want to be, should use Seribot. Oh, Max Payne, it's when someone pays money and to have someone else followed by a bunch of fake bots. See, I don't think Seribot can prevent follow bots for what it's worth, Infinite Coder. Seribot can go ahead and remove, so you can remove the bots using command, yeah, and so we'll remove them later. I'm not too worried, but I just had to disable my follow response there so that people can see the chat. It's okay. Let's come in here. We're going to add in a new parent node. I want to have a container. Is there a control that just lets me set a specific size? A rectangle, can't for design UIs. I want a container. Aspect ratio container that preserves the proportion of its child's control. Box container. Center flow. Keep children centered. Flow container. Grid container. Margin panel. I specifically want it to just make it I'll have to look into Infinite Coder. If you want me to check it out, I can check out Seribot. I just use Firebot. Anytime I've used bots that have required anything external, it's been painful. Hunted Storm, exactly. It turns out UI is just hard, right? So I wouldn't worry too much about all of that too much. For what it's worth, Infinite Coder, I'll look into it. Also, you say it's by far the best bot out there against those bots. So here's the thing. I was affected for less than a minute. I don't know. Like, do I really need to install something to deal with that? It affected me for less than a minute. I just hit a little button and it went away. Yeah, so I'm really not that worried about it. Drawing is also hard. Drawing I have a little bit more fun with usually than UI. That's not always true. Godot, size, Godot UI, control UI for setting size. It's all difficult. Yeah, making things is difficult, it turns out. I would like to set a very specific size for this color picker. Well, I bet if I just do this, 30-30. There we go. There we go. Color. Colors generated, but I can do generated AI by yourself. Sweet. Nothing wrong with that. So we got our color picker. Let's create another parent here. Yeah, that's what I thought I had set it, but it turns out I had it. I thought I had set it, but it turns out I had it, and that's why we had that little thing there. Now we have this color. Something zapped, and maybe, I don't know if you were here yesterday, one thing I'd like to do with this color picker is when I click it, I would like for it to show up to the right of this button. By default, it tries to show up, no worries. It tries to show up centered, and it has a weird behavior, like tries to center on wherever I'm clicking, and I don't like that behavior. I'd also like maybe to change the size of it a little bit. I couldn't find a good way to do this. The only real good way to do it, there are cases where the picker is so low on the screen that you can't see half of it. Yeah, okay. So my solution to this would be, and I'm trying to keep it simple for my students, would be to just have a color panel that shows up when you click a button and then do it on my own. This is 4.2. 4.4, save us, yeah. Fun fact, 4.3 is coming out. The official 4.3 release, I believe, is coming out on August 8th. Godot 4.3. There's I heard from a very good source, and also on their release schedule, it shows it coming out on, forget exactly where it was, but it shows it's coming out on August 8th. So 4.3 stable is coming out on August 8th. You don't have to relearn everything, no. Tawny, we got hit by a follow bot. So yeah, we got hit by a follow bot. So it's gonna get reset at some point. Sorry, you both missed it. You both missed it. But yeah, I'm gonna go through and send a thing here. Still had some audio mess. That's too bad. That's too bad. So we'll probably have to wait for 4.4 then. Had less issue with Masterhead. Patrick, welcome in. Congratulations on your number 17. Not bad. Not bad. Infinitani, it's great to see you as well. Welcome into the stream. Yeah, so we'll have to go through. We'll use Commander Root to clear out those as well. It's very easy to do. And honestly, I don't even know if I'll do it. It's a lot of people get really excited about their follower number. It's one of the least important things to me as a streamer. Godot also works on Android. We don't shame any editors here, Rajar. I don't want anyone to feel like they have any pressure or are being, judged for using any specific editor here. Just a heads up. Just a heads up. All engines are awful and great, yeah. I want this slider to take up the full width. So one thing I think I can do, what's interesting, I want this to resize to take up the full space. I'm a little surprised that this container doesn't do that by default. Can I tell this component? So notice this component takes up the full space there. HBox here is this wide. Label 2 is that wide. This one is decided to be small. Fill expand in the container. There's a fill expand. Let's look for alignment, beginning layout, container sizing, fill. It's already set to fill, so that would be down here then. Transform. Fill. It's already set to fill. This is why it's so confusing to me. That's okay. You can be biased, but we're not going to shame anyone for using anything. Expand. Okay, there we go. How did I click that? Ooh, that's interesting. That one's aligned here. Vertical, that's interesting that this is apparently not the same thing. Okay, anyway, this is what I want. We're gonna get rid of this slider here. And then our alignment here, we want to be centered. Can we change these to be centered? Like that. All right, so this isn't gonna be color. Instead, this is gonna be arm Y position. This is gonna be our arm X position. We need one more. That's going to be our arm rotation. All right, so it's gonna rotate our arms here. Yeah, I thought this would do that. The alignment worked there. It aligned it the way I wanted it to. All right, so these are sort of the different things. These are our arm controls here. We want to connect these so that way when we use these sliders, it moves them up and down, left and right. Oh, this is going to be Y position. This should be X spacing, arm spacing. Okay. So let's come down to this slider. We'll call this arm spacing, height, something like this. Use any tools you want as long as you learn it well. That's my general mindset. Yeah, I think if it's not really hurting anyone else, that's okay. But yeah, I don't want anyone to feel shamed for any tools that they use, any language they use. There's a lot of shame going around about like using PHP or JavaScript. These are not necessarily languages that I use, but I think anyone can do it. That's funny that this held those there. And the sad thing about the usability is that I have a bunch of tiny tool scripts that I drop in to set control nodes. The quality of life of doing UI improved a lot since I started doing that. Yeah, so you have to do it. I am working on a class project here, and I am in a little bit of a refactor here. So the class project, this is for my students that I'm creating. Slad, welcome back. In this project, students are creating a monster maker. So we're working on making, this is for the arm, these are gonna be arm controllers. So it's gonna control where the arms appear, rotation and spacing. So the point of this project is to have students learn about using different UI controls. So in this case, they have a color picture here. So this color picker, one of the things I want to do is this, when they modify the color, it is going to be modifying the color of these sprites here. I don't know if it fits your context, explaining that pseudo flexbox model to students sounds hard. Yeah, so this is still me massaging out what do I want this project to be. This is not gonna be the final project. This is me figuring out. So I'm prototyping now to figure out how I want to do it. And so there's like little tricky things, right? What are the outcomes I want? This could be a thing that I literally just have them do. Yeah, it's Vlad. I'm a computer science teacher. My full-time job is teaching computer science and programming at a school for ages 10 to 14. And in the fall, actually starting on August 28th, I'm going to be teaching a class on learning Godot. So I have about a month I have a couple projects already set up. This is going to be another project for those students that they can use. Yeah. I hope that answered your question. If not, feel free to ask for clarification. But yeah, we're going to make this color picker modify the color of these sprites. So one thing I want to do is this is going to be a sprite color modifier. So it's going to come in here. It's going to modify these two sprites, have a modulate color. And we're going to have a color picker that allows us to modulate these colors here. This is what this color picker is going to do. It's going to be connected to that. And so what I want to do, it's so interesting because I have two arms here. I want to write a script. This is going to be our sprite color picker. It's like our sprite color picker modifier. And what I want to do is we're going to export here two an array of sprites. I was going to say 2 sprites. We're going to export an array of sprites here. And this is going to allow the students to connect those sprites in here. It's actually, I don't think it's the hardest thing in the universe because they're so excited to do it, right? And when someone's excited about learning, it becomes really easy to teach them because they want to learn. They want, how do I do this? How do I do that? They ask tons of questions. Turns out teaching is really easy if someone is asking questions. And this project, I often let my students just run wild. They don't have, I have a very few requirements, and then I let them run wild on these projects, do what they want to do, because they're going to learn so much, and then ask lots of questions of me, ask lots of questions of the students, share what they learn with each other. So I actually think teaching young people game dev programming is actually easy when they want to do it. It's one of the reasons I actually don't think computer science and programming should be a requirement in schools, because if someone's not interested in, it's one of the reasons I find math, I believe math is hard for a lot of people. It's because they're just not excited about it. How do you get students excited? I went and did a little summer game dev course, and it was super fun. Yeah, so it's a lot of this is about exposure, getting kids excited about learning, excited about going and doing things on their own. This is going to be our sprites that we're going to modify. And so I'm going to make this. How do we do sprite 2D? Is this how we do arrays in, or do I do, how do I array? I think this is what it is. I'm pretty new to GD script. Yeah, I feel too much interested to see your teaching process. So you're excited to see my teaching process. Yeah, and so I'll be putting together this project. I'll put it into a document form that anyone can use as well. So the idea here is that we're gonna add this to our color picker so that our students can come and say, okay, which sprites do we actually modify? Do they do some free courseware stuff? I don't understand the question, sorry. So we're gonna add elements here. And this particular color picker is gonna be modifying the left arm sprite and the right arm sprite. So another one of my goals here is students learning about, this particular project is not a lot about code. I want them to learn more about the different nodes that Godot provides for doing UI stuff and potentially interacting with the inspector. So previously I was saying, like, I don't necessarily want to do array. What I will do is I'll probably introduce arrays slightly, say, here's this thing that lets us have multiple things stored over here. Don't worry about it too much. I'm gonna give you the code. That's not the purpose of this project. If you want to know more about arrays, here's some resources. Here's some things that we can do to talk about them. Prank them and teach them. I do have an algorithms class. I teach a class called Introduction to Competitive Programming. I teach a class called Competitive Programming in which students learn about algorithm complexity. GD script Nixa, I've been really happy with my GD script experience. I'm not a huge fan of dynamically typed languages. What I love about GD script is the integration in the editor. That's what I love. Open courseware, like what MIT does. Do your institution also do that? No, my institution doesn't do that by default. It's a school for young kids, ages 10 to 14. I do produce content. For example, this is the tool I wrote for my students for doing C#. The main language I teach is actually C#. Here's another course that I use for teaching. So I do a lot of Unity stuff at my school as well. I have a bunch of sites here that I use that I've put together that are curriculum for my students specifically. And so I wouldn't call it open courseware because it's not something anyone can sign up for, but I share all of the stuff I create is open source for the most part. One of my big goals is to make education should be as free and accessible as possible. Yeah, exactly. Nixa, I agree with the ability to opt into it. There are external tools for Python that let you do this. And so if you want to do it in Python and you're strict about it, you can. The main problem I run into is that most people, not what I meant to do, close, discard. most people don't use it, and so it's not super helpful in other projects. I'm going to get rid of that sprite color picker here. What we want to do on our sprite color picker is we want to have a signal. So do we already have a built-in signal, or do I have to attach it this way? So here's something that I'm not sure about. I suspect if I were to attach this specifically to this script here, let's create a class name sprite color changer button. Sprite color picker button. And I'm going to rename this to be sprite color picker button, like this. Hang on, something's gone wrong. All right, we'll clear these out. All right. The idea is something's not right here. Attempt to open script. Hang on. Close. Clear. There we go. Now it's connected. Would be hard to turn a project into a learning experience, I guess. Most of the learning done is the why is this broken, it should work, and changing stuff for an hour. Hunted, that's exactly why my courses, when I do this, check this out. That's exactly one of my big complaints with tutorial videos. They show you the happy path. Let's go look at my lesson on the console project. One of the very first things I do with my students, type hello into your terminal and press enter. You'll get an error message. What does the error message say? So a big part of all of my classes is learning how to read and understand error messages and debug. This is the thing that a lot of books fail to do. So a big part of my course is always what are the error messages. Let's go over to my one where I do it well, or one spot I like where I do it is maybe user input. Basic data types. Here's an example. Here's another example. There's a bug in this code, fix it. This code, I don't tell you what the bug is, go run it and then do it here. Who knew that thrown exceptions can be helpful? Yeah. Here's some more code. Let's go write this thing. Above is a line of code in here. What is the error message that occurs when you write this code? And then we talk about like, what is this error message? How do we read this error message? How do we understand it? I often will teach my projects where I have students do something sort of like this almost obvious way. Keep using resources that you know. What are some resources that you know? What are things that you know how to do currently? Use those things to try and do something, encounter a problem, and then introduce something that's a solution. You learn so much by doing that. When you say, oh, I can identify this pattern I'm running into. I give them the wrong code all the time. They hate it. They go like, oh. So there's a project I was doing last year with my students, a big class project where students were writing game engine. I gave them a core base game engine and it had a bunch of bugs in it, and I didn't tell them it had bugs in it. And that's not entirely true. I said there are bugs in this, but you have to write unit tests to find them. And so the first whole part of the project was reading the documentation, understanding what it was supposed to do, and writing unit tests for it. That would, if you wrote unit tests that followed what the documentation said, would expose a bug. A lot of them hated it, a lot of them liked it. Would have ran up the wall at that, yeah. Dev Mashup, welcome back to the stream. Hope you're having a beautiful Sunday, my friend. Welcome in. I'm from India and we don't have that privilege. They know the word Google, but never heard of terminal or don't necessarily hardware needed. Yeah, so a big part of my classes is not just programming, but computer science and soft skills. So we learn about Git, not in all of my classes, but like if you go through all of my curriculums, make sure the resource is imported. I don't know why I'm getting this error. I don't want this resource anymore. It should be gone. I don't know why it keeps. What is referencing this? How do I find where this is, like, what is giving me this output error here? Yes, I deleted this because I didn't want to use it anymore. How do I find what is referencing it? Ah, here it is. Go ahead and remove that. Clear. Close our monster here. What am I doing today off stream? That's a good question. We have some plans this afternoon. We're going to be going canvassing later today. We're going to be going canvassing later today. Some good gamified get sources, though. There are some good gamified get sources. This is true. For learning the basics, I use a tool for learning Bash. What is it? Is it called Bash Quests? I have a resource. Hang on, let me go find it real quick. I teach a class called Command Line Kung Fu, and we end up using gamified Bash shell. Man, I wish I could find it here. Thank you for the hat. Let's get another hat added to the stack. Let's go. Thank you for the hat, Dev Mashup. I appreciate it. One more hat. Game shell, that's what it's called. Game shell. Let me go find it on Replit. Game shell. I don't know if they have. I have one that's on Replit specifically. It's hard to play this in the web browser. Replit. Let me hang on. Give me a second here. This thing is really cool. Game shell is a gamified game, a little game to learn about. Qless is a little game we play here. Did someone redeem Qless? I'm gonna be careful not to click on random. Like, Duds, welcome to the stream. What did Duds send us here? Duds, what did you send us? Let's play a round of Qless Dev Mashup. Let's do it. It's a little backpack with shoes. That backpack's real sad. We probably won't add this to my game, Duds, but we could. But it's a little bit out of scope for what we're doing. Let's play a round of Qless real quick, Dev Mashup. Thank you so much for redeeming that. Let me see if I can finish this real quick. I was trying to get rid of this, and then we'll play. Do it for a secret. So I'm not making a full game. Why is this? I'm so upset. Why is this even? Where is this coming from? Where is this error coming from? I don't understand. It's driving me nuts. We might have to restart Godot here. How do we do a for each in GD script? For sprite in sprites. This is like what I want. Is that it? Sprite dot. What did we call it here? Let me go look up one more time. We got the sprite here. Visibility, modulate, self-modulate equals color. All right, so the whole point of what we were doing here was to set up this color picker. Oh, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I thought I would modify these down here. I'm curious if this is running. Color picker, signal, 1 second. Print, change, color. Is this running? It is. I didn't set the sprites. Hang on, these sprites got reset. So we want to change the left arm and the right arm like this. So we're just sort of showing, we're not necessarily teaching the way, so now we can adjust the color of the arm here with this color picker. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and move on here. We do a round of Qless. RG, welcome back to the stream. That is a secret. Duds, maybe we'll have to say it. As I am new here, what game are you working on, Captain? Great question. We are working on a class project here, a monster maker project. So students will be able to, the idea is to create a project where students create these monsters. So we have different sprites we swap out, can adjust the colors. So we're learning about doing stuff with the UI. We're gonna adjust the positions of the arms, the spacing of the arms, and the rotation of the arms. Those are the next things we're gonna do with these sliders here. We just gotta finish setting this up here. But before we do that, let's get a commit in here. Get status, get add, get commit, dash m, feature, add, color picker, arm, color picker. Go and push that up. That upstream origin refactor. I put this on a different branch because we're in the process of changing it. No parentheses. Yeah, parentheses are not encouraged in Godot. All right, Dev Mashup, let's do a round of Q list for anyone who doesn't know, who hasn't been here for a round of Q list in the past. Q list, oh, wrong button. Wrong button. I'm going to hit this button. Q list is a game, one of my favorite games, game we love to play here. It's sort of like Scrabble. It's a solitaire crossword game made up of 12 dice. It's called Q list because none of the dice have a letter Q on them, because Q's would make this game very difficult. So we take these dice, we shake them up, we roll them, and our goal is to combine all of these letters together in a grid, in a crossword, and each one must spell words. So for example, we could do the word, poll, P-O-L-L, could be our starting word here. Like that. And our goal is to have a grid of letters. One rule, though, is all of the words must be at least 3 letters long. The word do is not a valid Q list word because it's not at least 3 letters long. But we can start out with the word poll. If you see some words, feel free to shout them out or type them in the chat for us here. So we got poll, we got roll. This V and Y could be a little bit tricky to get done. VYZ, so we got to find some uses for these. Pour. So pour is a tough one because it puts our 2 vowels together. Thindle, welcome in. Pour is a little tough, puts our 2 vowels together, so it's hard to use those out there. Doll, pull, dull. We got a lot of double L's. Pull. I'm going to start with pull here for now. Pull. Can we get something with a Z? Anyone see something with a Z here that we can do? Pull E that's not how you spell pulley, is it? Thindle, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Welcome back to the stream. Come on in, my friend. You're just in time now. Sly is a perfect one. Sly is great because it doesn't use one of our vowels. Pull E, we're missing an E though. Yeah, nope, we're missing an E. Draws, I'm not sure if draws is a word, but DR is a good start. Draw, drop. Could do drop potentially. Let me shift all this stuff down. We got pull, slide, drop. We got the V, the Z, and the Y all in one makes it hard. Drop, drops. VZR looking a little sus. Do we have a VZR? Oh, the VCR. We could potentially put slide down here and maybe put this, use these somewhere else. Ruler. That's not how I spell ruler, is it? We need an E. Sly, I like. Drops. Dropped. I'm missing that here. Or one of these characters. Duds, maybe we'll add something like that in. Ply. Ooh, ply is another good one. Ply. Is plies. Pie. Ooh, we're missing that. I was going to say pylon would be good. Slur. Slur's not bad. Look, there we go. Making progress. Now we just need to get the Z and the V. These are hard ones. My bot, it's because you posted a link. My bot doesn't like links. If you haven't been here a while, and I'm in the middle of a thing, so I can't approve it just yet. Yeah. V, not possible. We gotta find something to do with VRZ. Vers, drops with a Z. Does VODs work? So no links will VODs. Oh, you're saying is VODs a valid word? I don't think so. We could check Scrabble. I don't think VODs with an S is a valid Scrabble word. Has to be a valid Scrabble word. That's the dictionary that I use. Drop. Gotta come up with something with the Z and the V. We might not make this one. We got 5 minutes left to try and get this one here, folks. 5 minutes left. This might be the first time we've lost in a long time. Unless we can pull it off here. Plus, plus fly plus, well, that made things harder, didn't it? Do you want me to get the link? Duds, we're in the middle of playing this. Maybe. You gotta give me some time. Roz? Or is that a name? Roz. What is Roz? I've never heard of Roz. Roz. Let's double check the Scrabble dictionary, see if Roz is a word that we can use. Get all Gen Z word. What is Roz? I have no idea. I've never heard of Roz. Scrabble. Hang on. Oh no, I accidentally destroyed this. Here we go. Scrabble dictionary. Duds, it won't let you post links currently. You haven't been a member of the channel long enough. Roz. Roz is not a playable word. I'm doing well. We're trying to finish this round of Q-lists. It's a pretty rough one. Pretty rough round here. Slop. Do we have an extra P? No. Slurp. Slurp. What do you guys think about slurp here? Slurp. Let's start fresh. Slurp. We got slurp. We got poly. I really want to use this V and this Z. Anyone see words used that use the V and the Z? No, make the Z. The Z is hard. Yeah, the Z is tough today. The fact that we have a Z and a V. What is cheating? Kilted, what is cheating? Are we doing any language or just the English language? English, so it has to be a valid Scrabble word, Dev Mashup. DRS, let's see if DRS is a valid Scrabble word. DRS. Not a valid Scrabble word. No, not a valid Scrabble word. Slurp. Slurpee. I don't think Slurpee is a real word. That's Slurpee. DZOS, we're just trying. Slurpee with a Y is a word, so we could do Slurpee. Zerd. Zerd is not a word. Zord. Z-O-R-D. Oh, it's also not a word. Wow. Poles. P-O-L-Z. Now we're just guessing. P-O-L-Z is not a word. Dezos. Dezos is not a word. This one's a struggle. We're on the struggle bus for sure here, folks. Slurpee. Another two vowels. I know we got in trouble with the Z, the Y, and the V all in the same row with only two vowels, or only for English. Dang. Yeah. So the Z here makes this tough. I'm trying to find words that are just with the Z. Lord still doesn't help us with the Z. We can do Lord. Lord doesn't help us with the Z though. No, Lord, all capital, that's okay. Look, sometimes we get extra excited when we're typing here. This is difficult with it being here. Lords. Again, not helping with the Z. Vaz. Is Vaz a word? Vaz? I don't think Vaz or Vaz are words. Let's try Buzz. V-U-Z is not a word. V-O-Z, also not a word. That's tough. Devour, I think that needs an E. No, it doesn't. D-Y, I've never seen it spelled that way. One who is bankrupt. Magic word. The problem with this one is that it puts our two vowels together, which make that extra hard to use. Is does a word? D-U-Z? Does is not a valid Scrabble word. We could still do slurp down here like this. But now we gotta do something with this L and this Z. Yeah, slurp. What do we do with the L and the Z? See, this OU together is making it tough. Vug? Let's see, is vug a word? That's another one. Vug is a valid word. We don't have a G though. There's no G. Lies? You can do lulls. LYZ is not a word. Let's see if LU lulz is not a word either. I think we lost this one, folks. I think we're throwing stuff out at this point. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This one is tough. This one is tough. This might go in our Q-list Hall of Shame. We weren't able to play the L and the Z here. This might be where we call it roll up, and then go from that roll. All right, roll up. Let's try again. Roll up. All right. The hard letters here, these are the hard letters that we got to try and use. Spy gets us the Y. Doi, D-O-Y. Is Doi Roy? Roy might be one. Roy is not a playable word. D-O-Y is not a playable word. Zod. Spry. Spry is good. Still not helping with our our V and our Z. Dawes is not a word. Zod, I don't think is a word. Zod is not a word. Superman's pal. Yeah, Superman's pal. That's right. VOD. Someone suggested VOD. I think we chested VOD is not a valid Scrabble word. Yeah. Even though it's a well-known set of letters. Vorpal. We're missing an A. No A. Caden, no A, sadly. Yeah. We're in trouble here. The Z really got us dying here. The Z and the V really have us in trouble. So I think we might have lost. I think we might have lost this one, folks. We've gone over the time limit. So I think we're gonna call this one. We weren't able to solve this one, so it's gonna go into QSR. Yeah, it would be great if this was an A, right? Void with a D. We tried. So void. No, void with a YD is not a word. Slurp. We got a slurp. These are the letters. The Z and the V are the letters that we're stuck on. That we're really stuck on here. So I'm not quite sure. The only words I'm accepting right now are words. They can be any words that use any letters, but Z and V. Z and V. Soyuz. You guys you type it in like word solve. Soyuz is a word. All right. So SOYUZ. So it's a manned spacecraft of the former Soviet Union. Okay, we'll go with it. We're gonna go with it. Since you guys definitely knew that word and you didn't look it up. Since you guys definitely knew that word and didn't look it up, I'm sure of it. All right, so now we can come off of here. Prod, maybe? The V is gonna be a tough one. Dry. DRY, we could do dry. All right. Makes it a little bit hard to come off of here. You don't know what Soyuz was? What are they teaching kids about space races? Sly is a good one. Sly. Oh, but we're already using our S over here. The V. We got to use this V. We got to get words with a V in here, people. Prov. We really got to use this V because we can come up with we can have words all day, but if we can't use the V, then we're toast. Verp. Is verp a word? Can some of our all? No, not all are. It's surprising how often it is solvable, but because we roll the dice, it's not always solvable. Verp is not a real word. Verp is not a word. Because you roll the dice. We may have an impossible love. LUV. Let's see what the Scrabble dictionary says about love with a UV. It is a playable Scrabble word. Let's go. All right, folks. Love is a playable Scrabble word. It means to love. Love with an S is also Yeah, this is a real word. This is a playable Scrabble word, which is hilarious to me. Okay, so we might have drop, D-R-O-P. All right, we still got to get this R, dropple, level. We still have, they're definitely making stuff up at this point. Drop. Do we have an R and an L we gotta finish here. This is definitely one of the toughest editions of Q-list I've seen. This S is upside down. RDL drop Earl. Folks, we did it. Drop Earl. So time for some drop Earl. Definitely did it. Drop Earl. Alright. Drop Earl is not a playable Scrabble word, unfortunately. I think we lose this one, folks. Alright. Let's add this to the Q-list Hall of Sham. Hall of Sham. Here, let's get a screenshot of it. Pry. Lord Pry. See, these don't work because they end up doing stuff like this. If I want to do pry in there. Lord is a word I can put, but then what do I do? Where do I put it? Where do I put it? We got to use all of the letters. All right, we were unable to solve this one. We had a leftover L and R. If anyone's able to solve this on your free time, that would be super awesome to find out. But we're gonna add this to the Q-list Hall of Failures, our Hall of Shame. We were not able to do this one, unfortunately. We spent a good amount of time on it. Let me get a screenshot here of this. We're gonna add this to our Discord. Give me just a second. Turn off my talk cam here. We gotta add in Q-list Hall of Shame. We couldn't. All right, I'm gonna create a new one. Q-list Hall of Shame. That's not where I want to go. We couldn't solve this one. There we go. Proudly. But that puts the O and U next to each other, Kilted, because then what do we do? What do we do with the S and the Z and the Y? What do we do with the S and the Z? Yeah, what do we do with the S and Z? Sigi, we got follow botted, so I don't know. So it'll probably be under 4,000 tomorrow, or maybe we have had a lot of real follows today as well. But we got follow botted, so we're at crazy follower number today. So that'll probably go back down tomorrow. We'll see. Sometimes I honestly don't care that much about the follower number. But sadly, we got follow botted before we hit 4,000. All right, thank you so much for redeeming Q-list. Sadly, we couldn't solve it, so I can't award bonus points. We have been going for 90 minutes, so we do have to take a break. So Sigyn, I'm sorry, no one gets to be 4,000th, apparently. No one gets to be 4,000th. But yeah, if you want to join the Discord to find that, you can. We're in the process of making, we're redesigning our character creator here, our monster maker. It's our monster maker. We're using the color picker. What? Can you get negative points for Googling? Yeah, I feel like some of those words were definitely words that we're after. If you can solve it though, we should come up, we'll do a bounty. Let's do a bounty. We couldn't solve this one. Bounty, 3,000 channel points to the first person that can solve this. There we go. 3,000 channel points if you can solve it. There's our bounty, folks. That'll run now. New project, yeah. So one of the things that I want to do, Kilton Ninja, I think it'd be really fun to make a infinitely sized Q-list game that we play. It's a valid Scrabble word. Yeah, that's what we looked up. We were looking at our Scrabble dictionary. Someone said that. I was like, what the heck? I want to do an infinite Q-list. So every time we play, it'll roll, and we have to keep adding. Yeah. So every time we play, we'll roll some stuff out, and then we have to add it to a section of the board. So we can pick like a sector we want to work with. That I think would be super cool. I love it. I don't have time to work on it yet, but yeah. Apparently, soyuz was a valid Scrabble word, and so was LUV is a valid Scrabble word as well. So is loved with 2 V's, loving, and loves with an S. Would get over time probably, but could you add everywhere or a subsection? Because everywhere would get too easy over time probably. Yeah, so in tense code, I think what we do is it would randomly pick a section of the board where you have to add it to, right? So you'd be limited to adding it to a specific section of the board. VUW, is VUW a word? I'm not sure VUW is a word either. It is not. That's okay. Thindle, just in time for a break. Let's get a hat added to the stack right before we go on break. Thank you so much for the hat, Thindle. I hope you've been well, my friend. Open the new project and kick open the Git repository. It's time for Q Unlimitless. Yeah. Well, area here would get filled and difficult to add to. It'd get packed. Yeah, so the idea is it would expand out. It would expand out as you go. Infinite chess. I wonder how that works. I'd be curious to understand how that. We do have to take a break though, folks. Been going for 90 minutes. I got to get a top up here. We're going to come back. We're going to add in some more controls here for controlling the height and spacing of our arms and the rotation of the arms as well. So don't go anywhere. Captain Coder will return. How many words would I have to make? It would be an infinite board. Be an infinite board. You'd roll the dice and then infinite there. How many words in 3D chess? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Folks, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Hang tight. I shall return. What?
Kitty! He's very easy. I do pretty much whatever I want with her. Okay. Alright, let's let you down.
Thank you so much for your patience. I'm back, folks. We got ourselves some fresh water here. We got ourselves some bean water as well. Ah! My coaster went flying. My Legend of Zelda coaster. Look at that. Look at that. Went flying. We're back. Muniz, we're in. I know. You got. We don't have a leaderboard, but welcome into the stream. Hope you're doing well. Folks, if you guys don't know Muniz. If you guys don't know Muniz, incredible human being. He's also a co-host of Mechanically Challenged. Caden, sorry about that. Caden, you solved it? Hang on, let me get Caden, ignore bot, Caden. Try it now. Oh, no, hang on, don't try yet. Bot, ignore. Apparently I really need this to be both directions. Sorry, I was too slow. Try now. I'm so sorry. I'm the worst. Yeah, guys, go check out Mechanic. There we go. Very silly. Let me check it. Let's take a look here. It's the way to solve it. Yeah, that's the way we solve it. Where's my web browser? That's hilarious. Folks. This is how we solve this one. Caden, genius points. Caden points. Add Caden. Hang on, Caden. 3,000 points for solving our Q-list puzzle here. Easy peasy. No letters left, exactly. I love how you left them slightly in the picture here. Very nice, my friend. That's hilarious. Folks, if you don't know Muniz is the co-host of Mechanically Challenged. We have a new Mechanically Challenged coming out on August 1st. We have a new challenger, folks. The incredible, the wonderful, oh no. My slash key's been done. I need to get a new keyboard. Give a shout out here to Beegs. Folks, be sure to go give Beegs a follow. Beegs is our challenger next month. You want to find out what the next Mechanically Challenge is? Stay tuned. August 1st, the incredible Beegs is gonna challenge myself, Muniz, and the community to a game dev challenge. But folks, our 2-letter word, no, they have to be 3 letters. 3-letter word minimum. 3-letter word minimum. I know it's hard, right, Flavius? This one's brutal. This one's tough. I think even if I was cheating, this one would be tough to solve. If I'd have to be looking up those words. All right. But yeah, folks, be sure to give Muniz some love as well. I have a P left. Look, isn't it terrible when you have a P? When you have to pee and you just have nowhere to put it? I was cheating, I couldn't, so it's Dindle, that's how I was like, geez, this one's tough. You wanna see a weird animal? Is it a capybara? Because they're cute. Or is it an orangutan? Some people think orangutans are weird. A blobfish. Blobfish are super weird looking. So blobfish are interesting. Hang on, let's make sure we don't accidentally blobfish picture. A blobfish are super weird because they're super deep water fish. They're these deep water fish. Here, did you know blobfish? They look like this when they're at the correct depth. They have all this water pressure on them, and it's only when we pull them out of the ocean that they look like this blob. Exactly, they get crushed from the water pressure, which kills them and makes them look this weird way. They're actually really beautiful fish when they're down deep in the ocean. Yeah. So it's like the look village out of the water. So you gotta be here. I did not approve to look up pictures of me. Nikki B, folks, if you want to go see more Nikki B pictures, be sure to go follow Nikki B. Click that heart if you want to see more people there. No worries. Dev Mashup, no worries. Blobfish are super cool. Fish, yeah, the blobfish are super cool. No worries, Nikki B. Be sure to go check out Nikki B. How's your game coming along, Nikki B? How have you been? I feel like I haven't seen you streaming in a while. We'll give them some love, folks. I have everyone, if you're here in the chat, we were talking yesterday about potentially doing a game jam for this December. And I have this idea for it on the Discord. Fright Night Trans, thank you so much for the follow. Lance with the hat, let's get a hat over here. Fright Night Trans followed me. Fright Night the Trans, thank you so much for the follow. Fright Night, thank you so much for the follow. Folks, I had this idea and we talked about it a little bit on stream yesterday. I need a little bit help brainstorming for it. I want to do a game jam in December. Thank you for the hat, Lance. Thank you for the hat. And my idea is to have it be a Secret Santa game jam. I want to do a Secret Santa with the community this year. Or a Secret December, or whatever you call it. So Secret Santa. Game jam idea is people would create a list of themes that they want to see people implement. And then you would give, so everyone who signs up would have to submit their theme ideas or game ideas, and then someone else would get those. So it's, not everyone's doing the same theme. Everyone would be getting a different theme based on like a wish list from someone else. And then you're actually implementing a game for someone else. So someone else's, and they don't know until the end of the jam. The thing that is challenging about a jam like this is the completion rate. I think this would be super cool to do with the community. The completion rate in jams tend to be like 15 to 20%. My game jams have been a little bit higher. We had a 30% completion on Learn You a Game Jam. And so I want to brainstorm ideas on how we could do this in a way where people don't accidentally feel left out or gypped a little bit on it. So my thought, I want to know if anyone has ideas on how to get around this idea here. I love this idea of a Secret Santa game jam though. And the idea would be, you know, keep it simple, keep it small. It feels like something you might be able to do with streamers or something, I don't know. I think it'd be really, really fun. I want to do it with the community. I think one of the things we might just do is say a little disclaimer is like, if you join this, you're not guaranteed to get a game. The idea is about creating something for others. Someone submits the theme, someone builds a game, and someone else gets the game. I like that. So then it's not quite Secret Santa. That's an interesting idea too. Someone submits the theme, someone builds a game. So what's gonna happen though? What could happen? Oh, the idea of someone else getting the game is kind of cool. Having a game made just for you, one of the things I really like about it is you're basically guaranteed feedback on it. It'll also be low-key 1 month jam, so I'm gonna encourage people not to spend a lot of effort on it. The idea would be the game should be 5 to 10 minutes. Is there a game jam for someone who's never built a game? Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. On Shul, welcome back. Great to see you. Captain Coder's Learn You a Game Jam just ended, but that is one that I like to do there for it. And then there is the IGDB. Let's go find IGDB is a fantastic place to do it. Let me get an invite to this server or even to their jam page. The beginner jam here just started. If you're wanting to, if you've never done a game jam before, this game jam is designed just absolutely for beginners here. Yeah, this one here, Beginner's Jam Summer. Still have about it starts in 12 days. So you have plenty of time to come in here. So yeah, I think it would be cool. Dev Mashup, my plan is to have it be all of December. My plan would be to have it all of December. I'm trying to come up with all the rules for it. So if anyone has suggestions or ideas for us, come back to my Discord here. Ideas or suggestions for us, I would love to hear how to do it. Because my fear, I made this post on the Discord here in general. I would love to know ideas on how to make it feel not so fair, unfair. What's the captain's view on the game jam? How do you think it went? Anything you changed, implement newly? BK, this year's game jam I thought was a huge success. We had 30% submission rate, which is huge. Other things here aren't quite there, but we had a 30% submission rate, which was huge. Flavius, post in the Q-list Hall of Shame. Post your solution to it if you got it. Some things I would do differently. I thought that by next year, I probably won't participate myself, or at least won't make a submission myself. So something that I didn't anticipate was my game scoring as well as it did in the ratings, in the community ratings. So I felt bad about that. My submission came in second, and I would much rather have people in the community get that glory. And so I disqualified my game from it, but it didn't shift any of the rankings. And so I felt bad about that. One of the prizes was for most creative, and I actually won most creative. I got first place in most creative. And so I felt a little bit bad about it. Exactly. And I'm not going to submit a game next year. Legit, let's check it out. This looks pro, Dozy, Surly, and Love. I think these are all real words. Let's go, Flavius. Nice work, my friend. Points. And Flavius for solving Arculus Hall of Shame. Very nice work. 3,000 points to you. And then the other thing I would change, so last year, or the first Learn You a Game Jam, we had, there's several things that changed. The first Learn You a Game Jam, we had one winner and 5 raffle winners. So 1 grand prize winner. And it was really hard to pick that one winner. And so I decided that this year we would have 5 winners. I thought it would be easier to pick 5 winners. It was not easier to pick 5 winners. It was way harder, and the judges had to spend way more time deliberating and figuring out those top 5 winners. So next year we will probably have 1 grand prize winner again, and then some honorable mentions. And the honorable mentions will be people that we find, we'll probably give awards to honorable mentions, but we won't say what they are. It'll just be at the judge's discretion. Judges can give out honorable mentions. So that was another one that was a little bit, a change we made this year that was made things way harder. So I probably won't do that next year. And then the last one is, it was so hard to select 5 winners. It was so hard to select 5 winners. It's crazy difficult. The last thing I want to change is I want to make it very, very clear that the theme is optional, or do something different with the theme next year. I think a lot of people got turned off by the theme. So I think I want to make it very, very clear that the theme is absolutely optional. It's just an optional theme. The goal of the jam is to learn something new. The goal of the jam is not to just make an awesome game. And so I think a lot of people drop out when they see the theme and they're like, I don't know what to do with that theme. And so they drop out. And I want to find a way to discourage people from dropping out in that way. You're saying how to impress? Yeah, that's right. So those are some of the things I'm going to change for next year, I believe. Great questions, BK. That's some awesome questions. Yeah, the jam I thought was a huge success. It's an iterative process. How do we make it more accessible, more easy, and more fun for everyone? But yeah, I had such a great time with the game jam. I can't wait to do it again next year. Speaking of game jams, we have a couple jams coming up here. Practical NPC and I are hosting. This one's more of a more challenging game jam, but we are hosting the Solo Dev Game Jam number 4. This is coming up at the end of August, folks. This is a challenging game jam because it's a 72-hour game jam in which you have to do everything by yourself. So this one is really challenging. I was inspired by Fox Hollow's Gauntlet, wanting to do this one. So the idea with this game jam is you make everything yourself. You can use external resources so long as that they're free and accessible for anyone else to use. Yeah, so I do think there where the jam was make a GDD was a neat take. I like the GDD thing too as well, Hunted Storm. Sometimes I don't join jams because I know I won't be able to do as much as 3 other people. Yeah, so this one's coming up at the end of August. Journ Jam 3 is coming up in September, so I'll be participating in that one. And I think Beegs is hosting a game jam in October. There's so many game jams coming up. I don't know what to do. Do we have to make and etch the CPU from silicon? 100 Storm, yes. You have to build the computer. No. You can use any game entry. The idea with this one is that the goal is to challenge yourself as a solo developer. So the idea is you're not using a team, you're not having someone make art. So pre-made assets are allowed as long as they are free and you have the legal right to use them. So the idea is you can use resources that it puts you on a level playing field with everyone else. That's the idea. Never done a team jam. Team jams always are tough. Anyway, yeah, so if anyone has some ideas, the main thing I was talking about here, if anyone has ideas, also Flavius, great job with that. It's nice to know that there was a solution to it. If anyone wants to help brainstorm ideas for our Secret Santa game jam, let me rename this. Secret Santa game jam idea. If anyone wants to help brainstorm ideas for the Secret Santa game jam idea that we have, I'd love to hear more about it. Team project can be super tough. Starts at 8 p.m. and ends at 8 p.m. on Sunday. Nice. What did you use to draw those? I use a tool called Zoom It. I think I have a command for it. Zoom It. Yeah, so Zoom It, it's a Windows tool. It lets us draw, change colors, like turn the screen off here. It's a really, really fabulous tool. I use it all the time when I'm teaching. I think it's a fantastic tool. But I'd love to hear your ideas for the game jam to make it a little bit more accessible. Like I said, my one fear with the Secret Santa game jam is, what do we do when someone gets another person and they don't finish that game? I don't want people's feelings to be hurt. And so I'm not sure how to set it up so people feel. I think what we need to do potentially is have the mindset of, you are making something for someone else. You're making something for someone else. If someone ends up dropping off, that's okay. Being harsh on purpose to improve their chances. Yeah, so BK, one thing on this one, there wouldn't be any prizes, so there is no stake in trying to win. There's no prizes, there's no rankings either. Yeah, so there wouldn't be any prizes, there is no stake in trying to win. The idea is doing something nice for someone else, doing something fun for someone else in the community. And I think part of that might make people more likely to participate. Exactly, Hunted Storm, that's exactly what I was going for. And so, yeah. What's your idea, Anshul? What's your idea? I'd love to hear it. Tell us. Great idea. Not just an idea, a great idea. Let's hear it. I want to know. Yeah, I'm really curious how we could pull something off, something like a Secret Santa idea off. I think it'd be real cool. BK, that was like the idea is that the person doing the Secret Santa, the person receiving the Secret Santa, they're the person that makes a wish list of things they want. Those games go into pool, and only those who made a game will get one from the pool. So that's the idea, Anshul. The idea, though, is part of Secret, and maybe this is the bad part. Part of Secret Santa is that before you start Secret Santa, you submit a wish list. So this is sort of the challenge. You submit a wish list. And you give that, you randomly, you don't know who's going to make the game for you. Yeah, so step one, submit a wish list, right? And so the problem is, you submitted a wish list, the person that submitted the wish list drops out of the game jam. And someone else has already been working on the entry for 2 weeks, right? So I want to make this a full month, all of December you're working on this thing. Maybe we make it November. Usually you do like the drawing and stuff. Yeah, not a serious idea. It would be fun to end on the 24th so you get your game on Christmas Day. I want to be careful to make it non-denominational, right? So I don't want people who are not... so I think typically the way Secret Santa works is you do the drawing in November. So you'd have your ideas. And then I want to make it go through December. So we might not even call it Secret Santa. Like Advent of Code. Yeah, I had another idea for Advent, something called the Advent of Game Dev. But that would be a lot more work to pull off. Secret Santa, we can have a lot more community participation, whereas Advent of Game Dev would require creation of a bunch of puzzles and coding challenges and stuff like that. But I do have this idea for Advent of Game Dev as well, where we get 25 days of game dev. Well, BK, the idea would be that it isn't even necessarily something like implement Pong, right? It's not like that. the idea would be that you're actually learning a bunch of different game engines, a bunch of different tools. So maybe the first day is just a JavaScript thing or a Scratch game. So it has a game, you get a template game that describes the puzzle, and then you modify it in some way. So then at day 2 might be, oh, we're gonna do tile maps in Godot, and there's a base project that comes with a Godot project that you come in, and the idea is that you learn something a little bit new in a game engine, or maybe you already know the game engine, you can just like go ham and go full out on it. And the idea is that you submit something that you did with that base project each day. And this is where the challenge comes through. The amount of effort to set it up would be really difficult. And so I might want to reach out. I might actually, this is a thing that I thought about doing last year too, and I had no time. A bunch of crazy stuff happened last year around this time. Quick, learn every single game engine anticipation. Yeah, so I think it would be really, really fun to do, and then have community like rate different things that they do. You buy a gift for someone, don't expect them to return. This game jam seems two-way. You give something, you get something back. So Secret Santa, the way it usually works is everyone submits a wish list. Every person in the Secret Santa pool is getting something for someone else. You're not necessarily doing an exchange. So BK, I might get you. You might get Captain Enosa, and then Captain Enosa might get me, right? So if there are those 3 people, I wouldn't necessarily be giving you a gift and you giving me a gift. The idea is it's random who you get it from. Yeah. We've never done it like that over here. We normally just buy a gift we think they'll like. Yeah, so the idea is that everyone gets one. So like my family, we have like 30 people. There's no way you can buy, not necessarily true. It's really hard to give 30 different people a gift and everyone giving 30 different people a gift at the same time. Like, so 30 times 30, you end up with 900 gifts, right? Instead, every person gets one other person a gift. So everyone gets a gift. No one feels left out. And then the idea is you don't know who's going to get you your gift. So that's part of the fun. That's part of the fun. Yeah. 900 gifts, it sounds expensive too. It sounds like a lot of effort. So another one, that's how I've always done Secret Santa. There's another one that's like a gift exchange game that we will play sometimes, where everyone buys a generic gift. You don't know who you're going to give it to. And then you take turns opening gifts, right? So one person's like, oh, I'm going to go open this gift. They open the gift, they get that gift. There's an item inside and they get that thing. The next person to go, they can either open up a new gift or swap the gift with someone else. So it's like a gift exchange. There's a bunch of gifts out there and then people end up exchanging them with each other. That one actually works out just fine if you know the rules going in. In the office, it didn't work out because they were doing Secret Santa and then they switched to the gift exchange game mid thing. So everyone bought a gift for a specific person. And then if everyone goes in knowing, oh, well, this gift is going to be for anything. Yeah, exactly. It's like gag gifts, right? Oh, I was thinking another one that I thought would be really cool. And I was talking to 2 nerdy nerds yesterday about this. I think it would be super fun to do a cursed game jam. A cursed game jam where your whole goal is to just like basically make a meme game. Make the most cursed game possible. And then we could do something funny like that too. Acid of rice cereal or milk of water. I don't know if I could afford 900 of anything. You know, it's true. That's true. 900 milliliters of water. Gotcha. Okay. Maybe we should do some more coding. This is fun. Thank you guys for helping discuss this with me. Yeah, I'm not sure what the best solution is. I'm honestly not sure what the best solution is. Let's add in slider controls. I want to make it so that the arms can move up and down. The arm height, maybe change height might not be right. Position, spacing. So spacing is going to be left and right. Arm rotation here. I want to add in controls here. So this is our color picker, sprite color picker button. All right. Arm color, maybe we don't put it specifically on that. This slider here, call this Y position. It's really our Y position. I don't know what to relabel it. Yeah, so I think if people go in, I just don't want people to feel hurt when someone doesn't finish their game or they get a game that feels low quality. Maybe I'm overthinking it and people won't feel that way. I think the idea here is to make it so that people are making something for someone else. Yeah, okay. So this slider is gonna adjust the armsman. The goal should be, yeah, ideally you'll get a game, right? Ideally you get a game, and we could end up in a situation where we need people to sort of drop it out. But do you use Unity, right, mate? Lay Aaron, yeah, I use Unity over on YouTube. Welcome into the stream. I use Unity I've been using Unity for about 2 years. I wouldn't call myself a professional in it, but I'm learning some Godot myself. Hunted Storm, I like that, yeah. I'm gonna rename this position slider. I'm gonna just name this position. And the idea with this is gonna be a sprite position slider. And there's a little bit of a challenge with this, is it like has a plus or minus. I want, on our slider here, let me think. Slider, editable, tick count, min value, max value. Okay, so we're gonna go with minus 100, positive 100. Cool. Step 100. The idea is this is adjusting the height up and down, the pixel position up and down. And what I want to do is we're gonna create a script for this called sprite position slider. Okay, so the sprite position slider is gonna work a lot like our color picker. We have our sprites being set here. And we're gonna add in, again, there's gonna be a signal attached to this. Value changed. And I'm wondering if this should actually, let me make a class name here. Class name, sprite, what did I call the one? Sprite position slider. That. Sprite position slider. I'm wondering if, let me go to my ready. I hate that I have to wire this up in the inspector a little bit, because it's gonna force us to, if I wanna attach this to a separate button. So for example, if I wanted to attach this here, does it have this signal connected? I don't think it does by default. It sort of requires me, yeah, so I think, let me drop this signal here. I'm gonna drop this signal. And sprite color picker. I want to add a ready here. And I am a color picker, so can I do color changed dot connect on color change? I think I can do this instead. And now it will work. It's like self-referencing. It knows about itself. I want to run this and make sure. Yeah, self-referencing. So I don't actually have to connect the signal. It's just talking to itself. We connect which sprites we're adjusting here. The position slider is similar, but it's not actually doing it on a sprite. It's going to do it on the node 2D node that we're adjusting. And this one's just a node 2D that we're going to adjust the position on. Let's get rid of this signal. And function ready. We're going to say that when this thing on, let's go value changed, We're just going to connect this to the on value changed here, like this. Our well-known acronyms, BK, I am using the Scrabble dictionary. So if Scrabble dictionary says it's a valid word, so scrabbledictionary.com or whatever it is. If it's a valid Scrabble word, I count it, is essentially where I am at with that. So what I'm going to do is what's interesting is this node here, we're not just setting its global position. Maybe we set its local position. Maybe this is an array of node 2Ds like this, and we're gonna set the local position on them so you can have a pivot point that we're going off of. I like this. Node, let's try this. Node in nodes. We're gonna say node dot position is equal to value. So it's gonna start at 0, and when you drag it up and down, it'll change it there. So let's come over to our position slider, and the things that we're actually gonna be adjusting is the right arm and left arm here. Right arm and left arm. Okay. I think that's what we want. So my position slider, we have two things. Right arm, left arm. I was potentially thinking of making it connect directly to just the like arm node, but I think by doing it this way, we break everything. Hang on. Position with value of type float. Invalid set index position. Interesting. Position is a vector. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Let's go back to our sprite. Position.y. Can I do this? There we go. So now we can move those up and down like that. So we can change the position of the arms. We can change the color of the arms. The next thing is change the spacing. Creepy shrug. Here, I'm gonna get you. Here. We can add a little animation here for Solo Game Jam. When is the theme released? That will be released probably right before the jam, maybe an hour or two. We'll probably announce it right before the jam starts. Okay. You're welcome, BK. Okay. We want to, all right, so we have our position. This is driving me crazy. Let me try restarting Godot here. There's like a little weird error I keep getting that is driving me crazy. I'm hoping we'll go away. Let's reopen our monster maker. Okay. Scene monster modifier button scene is broken. Let's just delete that. There we go. That's where that error was coming from, I think. Every time I do a save there, no, I'm still getting it. Can I open monster modifier button.scene? Failed to load resource. Make sure you have the resource. Impact scene. Yeah, somewhere. Let me try reopening this, see if we can find it there. Yeah, bear with me, folks. I don't know exactly. I made some changes. I want to make some major structural changes to our monster maker, and this has caused some headaches. All right. Failed to load monster modifier button. Fix dependencies. Monster modifier scene. Just want to get rid of this monster modifier button. Fix broken. All right, so it's on monster modifier button scene. Open anyway. Maker scene is corrupt. Open anyway. Oh my goodness. Broken it all. How can I change this? All right, let's do that. PCB invalid corrupt. I need to get rid of this packed scene. Oh my goodness. I should not have done this. I've made some terrible mistakes. All right, 1 second. We can go back to a previous commit here. Sadly. What's going on? Hang on. Get status, get. Check out source monster modifier. Maxie, hope you're doing well. I deleted some things and now everything is broken. My slash, I need a new keyboard. This key, my slash and question mark key is dying. It wasn't working at all yesterday. I took my keyboard apart. I'm gonna buy a new keyboard. Probably gonna get another Kinesis, but suggestions on new keyboards if you got them. Captain Enosa, no worries, my friend. It's wonderful to have you here. Congratulations on, thank you so much for submitting such an incredible devlog. Super inspirational. Congratulations on your win, my friend. Maxie, how have you been? What are you up to today? Hope things are going well for you. Let's enjoy your lurk, Kilted. Let's go into a diff here. I want to restore this. All right, we're gonna bring this back. That thing is corrupted. Let's look at the diff of this if it'll let us. So good to be back. Welcome. I'm glad you're here, Kilted. I'm sure we'll have a great stream. Kilted, I appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow too, Kilted, if you want to come back then. Let's try reopening this. I've corrupted my project unintentionally. This is the first time I've had an issue with corrupted project in Godot like this. See if I can get my project to reopen. Load errors. Okay, so at the very least we have this. So the issue seems to be inside of here. I have these. Yes, so I want these. I needed to unpack all of these things or take it out or remove it or something. Make local. Open this scene. This is where it is. This script needs to go away. We need to lose this script. Clear. All right, we're gonna go delete. Showing file system. Okay. All right, I think we got it. I think we got an error going. Excellent, excellent. I deleted some yeah, it's a metadata issue, exactly. I deleted some files that were being referenced in some not random places, in specific places, and that was causing issues. It's fascinating that it let me do it or it didn't update or anything like that, and instead made it so like my project couldn't be opened at all. That was a little bit of roughness there. All right, so now we have, let's get rid of this. We're gonna just get rid of this script. Color picker button. Clear. So we're sort of redesigning how this whole tool works here. It's okay. It happens. With this, we learn from our mistakes and we make mistakes to learn, and that's the way it is. All right. Showing file system, body part container, close all. Can we launch now? Perfect. So we're in the process of creating sliders. So I've decided the point of this project is for students to learn how to work with UI elements. That's the whole point of this project. Not necessarily about making the most efficient design. It's about learning how these different components work. That's the point of this project. And so we're ignoring some nastiness, some gnarliness that's going to come out of that, but at the end of the day the goal is to learn these tools rather than learning how to make the best possible project, the best possible code, the best possible things. So we added that in here for our position. We're gonna add one for our, this is our spacing slider, like this. So we're gonna add a new script for this one as well. It's gonna be our spacing slider. Maybe it'd be sprite spacing slider, something like that. Yeah, I love it. I love it. This is from the Kenny assets, some Kenny assets that we're using here. Let's go ahead and open up this here. So we're gonna steal this one. Again, this one here. What's interesting, we almost need a new class to specify how the spacing on these are gonna be done, because the spacing should be from the center. They're gonna be symmetrical. And so one of them needs to be left, one of them needs to be right. Although, yeah, we might call this one left node. We might just do it this way. Node 2D. Margin padding and borders. Right node. I don't understand. I need some clarity. Sorry, I don't understand exactly what you're suggesting there. Value changed. Here, we're going to do something similar to this. And this one, we're actually going to change our left node dot position dot x is going to be equal to value. I think this one needs to be negative value. And our right node is going to be positive value. So they're sort of symmetrical based off the center point here. So this is our, and we'll give it a class name here. Class name, spacing slider. Maybe we'll call it a sprite, just because it's sprite spacing slider like this. And we're gonna connect it to, hang on. I have the wrong one selected, here we go. The left node for this one is gonna be the left arm. And the right one is gonna be the right arm here. And the spacing slider itself, we need to have it be between 0 and 100, but we want to have it start at, let's go look at what we have our arms at by default. 80. Have it start at 80. So the starting value would be 80, and we could potentially have this pull this out from one of those values in our ready as well. But the idea is we want to be able to adjust where the arms show up, right? So we're teaching students about these sliders. We're teaching students about the color picker. We're teaching students how to connect these things via code a little bit. So we can adjust this up and down depending on which body we have. We're gonna do arm rotation next. So we're gonna add in another slider. It's gonna be our rotation slider like that. We're gonna create a new script. It's gonna be very similar to these ones. We're gonna come in here. It's gonna be our rotation slider, like so. I'm gonna steal a little bit of this code here. It's very similar, but it's different, but it's similar but different. We have a left node, we have a right node. I don't know if this suggests that we should make a parent. I don't think we should. Class name, sprite rotation slider. One of the reasons I don't necessarily think it should be called a sprite is because we're using node 2D. Maybe it's a node 2D rotation slider. And there's two in here. Maybe this one should be called a node 2D spacing slider. Notice we're using node 2D, similar to our position slider here. Maybe this one should actually be called our node 2D position slider. The first one was the only one that used the sprite because adjusting it. Maybe, honestly, our color picker doesn't have to be connected to a sprite. It could be connected. Ooh, this is interesting. I'm having a lot of thoughts on this here. Yeah, let's go back into our. We had our sprite color picker. I'm going to change this just to be our node 2D color picker button. I'm going to change this to just a single sprite node here. This is the node that we're going to be adjusting. I'm making a node 2D. And really, node.modulate will affect the children nodes. So I don't have to do self.modulate. I can talk about just specific modulate like this. And now in my color picker, instead, I'm going to assign it specifically to my arms, which encapsulates both of them, reduce that complexity a little bit. So we should still be able to change the color. Yeah, look at that. Kind of. You know, the problem with that is that these have we need to reset this and this. And instead put that the default modulate on the arms up here. Yeah, so this will be our default modulate for our children. We'll go ahead and do this color here like that. Okay, so now we can modulate just that color. Perfect. That's what we want. We have our spacing left and right. We have our position up and down. Now we're going to add in a rotation here. We do have the rotation, we just didn't connect it up to anything. So our rotation, this would be our left node dot rotation and our right node dot rotation. Enjoy your lurk, my friend Thindle. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And I'm not sure, you know, if this is the correct thing or not. We might have a left arm rotation or right arm rotation. It's going to be dependent on what the student kind of wants to do here. But I'm going to attach this to our, I think we put it on the sprite itself. Let's go look. Let's go into our 2D mode. Because our right arm, if we rotate, no, it does rotate at the right spot. Yes, perfect, perfect. That's where we want it to be then. That's within our arm to right here, then this sprite is centered. Yeah, so it's the right arm itself. Let's go down to our rotation slider. Left node would be our left arm. Right node would be our right arm. The default value, we'll set it, I guess 180 is the maximum, and we'll start it at 30. Why didn't it start at 30 there? Oh, I didn't save. I didn't click off of it, so it hadn't set that value yet. And we want to do this in degrees. It's going, oh, look at him flex. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I do like the quickness and the degree jumping like that. Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. Students are gonna love this project. Let's come back over to our script here. This should be rotation degrees. Like that. Not radians. The default value is radians there. So this should, there we go. So now we can bring it up like that, bring it out. Maybe it needs to be 360, apparently. 30 was not the default. What is going on here? Let's go look at this. Arm sprite. 360's positive 360 to negative 360. Okay. Let's adjust. Let's go back to negative 30. Rotation slider. Negative 360, positive 360. Default would be 30. Oops. Let's try it now. Okay, so now we can sort of get the arms anywhere we want them to be. Even look a little bit like ears up there. Okay, so we can adjust the left-right spacing, the up and down, and change the color of them. We want to make it so we can swap out the sprite now. So I want to be able to make it so we can swap the sprite. I think I want to just make buttons where you press left and right to do it. We might make a little thing where we have a grid where it shows all of the different arms. Maybe we do that, and then this becomes a Cassie, how the heck have you been? Congratulations on your number 23. Welcome back to the stream. What the heck have you been up to? I feel like I haven't seen you in forever. It's wonderful to have you here on this beautiful, beautiful, whatever today is. Sunday, this is beautiful. Happy Sunday fun day. We're having some fun here. We're creating a class project. We're making a monster maker. For our students. Okay. Just been busy with life. It happens. Yeah, the arms do end up going behind. I'm not sure I like that or not, but it's okay. Life will get you. Life does that. But I'm so happy to have you here. Like the snot, yeah. It's pretty fun. This is a Kenny asset that we're using. I got inspired. So one thing I often do to get inspired is I go look at the assets that are available on Open Game Art or anywhere. But this project was inspired because we saw this monster pack over on Kenny and decided we had to do it. So this monster pack just comes with all these different parts, these different components we can put in. So we're making it so we can swap these things out. So we're gonna add in a sprite picker next. So there's gonna be a selection of sprites you can choose from that'll show up next. So that's what we're gonna do here in just a moment. I wanna get a commit in before I forget. Let's get a commit here. Git add git commit -mp. Adds arm sliders for position, spacing, and rotation. Git push. There we go. Yeah, so we have this sort of left node, right node stuff. I teach English in Japan. That's awesome. I did not know that. And that asset pack reminds me of the monster body part games I play with the children. That's so cool. Is that your current job? Many years ago, probably like 10 years ago, I don't remember, I was looking into potentially do that. I've always wanted to go to Japan. It seemed like a way to make it possible to do that. And then I sort of, fell into my job and stuff as well. But I thought that would be a really fun thing to do. How do you like it? It's like, I can't remember what the program is called. Okay, let's keep going here. Sorry, I'm distracted. Perfect. All right, we're gonna keep going here. I want to add in the object. You have the perfect personality for Jet. Yeah, I think that's the exact program I was looking at, the Jet program. All right, so I want to add in. Here. One sec, I gotta double check something. Oh, cool. Freedom Forge, I just got your message. I'd love to talk more about it. I'm going to read that after I finish my stream, but I'd love to chat with you about that. That'd be so fun. Yes. Okay, what I want to do next is I want to add in a sprite. We're going to add a little thing that we can select a sprite, or maybe we just add in something we could potentially do. We already have arms. I'm wondering if I can just still this and drop it down there, what will happen? So we have our arms. Let me get rid of this color picker. I'm going to change these so that their visibility is just set back to this default one. So these are the different arms we can select from, and I think maybe this is just a fine thing to do here. The one thing that's interesting is these all have signals. We want to, I'm gonna turn off these signals. Oh, didn't want to delete the whole thing. I want to delete this. Yeah, I wish I could remove them all, like have a shift click to remove all of these. Like this. Got a booger. Yeah, it's got a little booger there. We're gonna make that an optional booger. This is sort of our arms menu here. Can select different arms. I want to make it so when we click on these, we can swap. These are buttons. These are buttons we can click on. Booger, booger, booger. Monster's got a booger. Watch out for that booger. Booger, booger, booger. Make it an achievement. We can unlock the booger achievement. Yes. OG, I missed your follow. Thank you so much for the follow. We had a bot follow earlier, so my alerts are off. OG followed me. I want to thank you for being here. Thank you so much for the follow. Happy Sunday, my friends. this should be a sprite. This is where our a button that swaps out our sprite for us is going to be useful. All right. So I'm going to add in a new script here. This is going to be our sprite change button. Same thing. We're going to talk about these different signals. This one's going to be specifically for a sprite. Class name sprite change button. And we need to have, we're going to export, we need to know which sprite we're going to change, var sprite. The thing that we're going to set in the inspector. We need to get the signal here. On click. On button down. Button down. Button. They're not a button pressed. There it is. Button pressed dot connect. Connect. And this is going to connect to a method here on button pressed. Function on button pressed. And what this is going to do, it's going to do our sprite dot texture. It's going to be equal to our normal texture. So these are the different things. If we go look at our arm here, we have a thing called our normal texture. That's what we're seeing there. We're going to select that normal texture and do it on button pressed. I'm surprised this connect here is cannot find property connect. Button pressed. Button. Oh, button is, that's not the signal. Button. What is the signal? Is it just button up? Ooh, this is interesting. Do button down. I'm surprised that doesn't work. I thought we had a signal. Let's go look at our signals here. Pressed. This is totally a signal. Oh, it's just pressed. Dot connect. On button. We always appreciate the lurks here. Sorry I missed you over there in the follow, but we appreciate you joining Captain Coders Academy. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Guard in, I'm doing a save system today, and man, oh man, it's a mess. I'm sweating. Save systems can be really tricky depending on the complexity, right? So we're gonna actually modify, this one's gonna modify, we need an array here. It actually modifies multiple sprites for sprite in sprites. Okay, so we're gonna do none or more. All right, so we need two here. The first one is the left arm sprite. The second one is the right arm sprite. So we're gonna connect these together. And this is where the trickiness comes in. It's like, oh, this is like my body grid here. This is our sprite grid. It's almost like my sprite grid wants to be able to set a thing. I kind of want to maybe make this called a sprite grid. And it listens to buttons inside of it, goes through, finds all the buttons. We need a monster making competition. I love that. Oh man, that would be a fun little thing. Where it's like, or caption the monsters. That would be super fun. I'm wondering if could be cool to do with the class. Absolutely. Absolutely. I kind of want to sprite change button. I kind of want these to have a signal that says on clicked, you know, sprite selected. Texture 2D. And this will just forward this sprite. So when the button gets pressed, we do a sprite selected dot emit. And this is going to be our normal texture. Texture normal. And so each one of these just knows how to do this thing. This is going to be our texture sprite button, something like that. Jammin, congratulations on number 24. Not bad. Not bad at all. And it just wants to, we want to set this thing up so that it can listen. All right, so these sprite buttons, want to set it up so that the parent object can listen to these. Let's load in, well, let me do this on all of them. If I have them all selected like this. So our sprite change button. Attach them all here. Our sprite grid. It's gonna have a thing where it just listens to all of its children. So let's add a script here. Sprite selection grid. And it's gonna have a class name sprite selection grid. The idea is when one of these buttons is pressed, it tells its parent to change the parent's connected. Yeah. So this one's gonna be connected to export variable sprites like this. And when what are you complaining about? What have I done wrong here? Cannot find sprite 2D. There we go. And this is gonna have a function called update sprite, and it's gonna take in a texture, and it's gonna say for each sprite in sprites. I have an interest on trying Godot for my first personal project, and it happened to get on your stream. I don't have an idea what my first project will be. If you want to, we can brainstorm something for you. We have a lot of people on the Discord. Just getting started, seeing what nodes are available are often inspiring. So for example, OG, let me know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. This particular project I'm doing was inspired by just browsing around the Kenny assets. These are all free assets you can use. And I said, oh, it'd be cool to use that asset. It'd be cool to use this monster asset for a class project here. There's so many cool ones. Another one, if I'm browsing around here, the project we did the other day was this space game based on the Kenny space assets, right? So we come in here, we can find these assets, like, oh, wow, that asset would be perfect space. We found this asset, and this is one of my favorite ones here, is making an asteroids type game where you have this ship here. We made this the other day based on this asset. So if you're not sure what to do, sometimes just looking at assets that are available to you can be inspiring to make it, or listening to sound effects. This one has sound effects that come with it as well. Sprite.texture equals the texture that was selected here. And then what I want to do is I want to basically wire these up. Yeah, so these are supposed to be, we're not actually gonna emit this change. Instead, this is gonna find its parent object. Sprite grid, this is the parent's object. And actually when we press this, we're gonna go in our sprite grid here. This is our sprite selection grid. We can do sprite grid dot update sprite texture. This will be our texture normal, like this. Go for 500,000 CCU MMO should be at least. So Hunted Storm, I have this crazy idea for a massively single player online game. The idea, so folks, maybe we'll make this as a collab project, massively single player online game. The idea is that only one person can ever play at a time. Only one person can ever play at a time, and there's a wait queue to play. So when you know how often you'll go into an online game and it'll be like, oh, servers are overloaded, you gotta wait to play. So someone is currently playing this, you are 7th in the queue, you're 8th in the queue, and you have, basically when you play, you have like 10 minutes to do something, but everyone controls the same character. So when you actually get a chance to play, everyone else actually watches you. They can see what you're doing at that moment in time. Everyone can see what you're doing at that moment in time. So if you're in the queue, you see the person that's playing, right? And then there's a time limit for how long any individual person can play. So when that person's time is up, you're the next person in the queue, you hop in and you play. You get control of the game. I love the concept here. I don't think it would be particularly fun. Of old school RuneScape, who posted all the account information publicly. Ooh, wow. That could, that's kind of interesting. All right, I want to see how we did with this here. So our sprite grid, basically this makes it so if we have any buttons inside, they communicate. So like we have this, I didn't connect this here. Hang on, our sprite grid. We should be connected specifically to our arms. This one happens to be connected to our left arm sprite and our right arm sprite. All right, so we can swap out our arms now. We can change the colors like this. We can change the position, the spacing, the rotation. Yeah, look at that. We could even add in some scaling options to make it so you can scale them up and down a little bit as well. We might even make it so that way you can move them independently. Big arms on that fella, yeah. So here, so as we go, we can keep going like, oh, well, what are some other things we could do? We could add in a scale, so we can shrink the size. We can make the arms independent of each other. We could make it so, part of me wants to make it so when I click on the arm, we get this sort of menu that pops up here that we can adjust just that one thing, right? Rather than both, we have sort of like a position here, X position, Y. I like the idea of the spacing. We might want to make the rotation separately. Yeah, so I'm thinking the rotation might need to be left arm rotation, right arm rotation, so we can separate that out there and put it in. So I'm going to come in here. I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to make a left arm rotation slider. We're going to duplicate this. We're going to modify our rotation slider, and instead it's just going to be a node here. And we're going to make it so that it just sets the value of this one node here. We're going to connect them differently. So it's going to be our left arm rotation. It's going to be our right arm rotation. Doing 2D pixel art if you can. Very nice. Have you done pixel art before? All right, so it's gonna be our right arm. What's interesting, I have right arm, left arm. This is interesting that I gotta go double check those files, those values, because they seem to be backwards. Right arm, left arm. All right, so I have this right, so this should be our right arm sprite. I just named this poorly. Right arm S. Left arm sprite, right arm sprite. There we go. Let's make sure our rotations. There we go. And then this one, we need to set it so that oh, that's interesting. There we go. So we can move them independent of each other. Like that. Okay, let's add in a toggle that lets us flip the X and Y, right? Left arm rotation, right? So we can do this. It'd be nice to have the ability to have, so if I put this arm up here, I want it to flip and be oriented the other direction. I'm a little worried I can't quite do that easily, because I think, I'm wondering here, we got our left arm, transform the flip on this. Let's see if I did. No, that's perfect. That's perfect. The pivot point stays the same. All right, so we're gonna change the pivot here. Mirror. I'm gonna have mirror option for our left arm and right arm stuff as well. Make it so we can mirror them. We could also make it so that this is all completely independent. So it's just left arm, it's just right arm. Maybe we'll do that. I'm kind of feeling a little bit Like this should all just be one arm here. You can have full control over it. It's a little bit hard to get the arms aligned if we do it that way. Trying to do my own assets, but I get complicated due to no resource at that time. That's what I want to try pixel art. Very cool. Very cool. We do have some fantastic pixel artists in our Discord. I'm going to give a shout out to Styx Color. There's an incredible 3D artist. If you want to watch someone who does incredible pixel artist, go check out Styx Color. She's fantastic. She's phenomenal. She also hangs out on our Discord sometimes, helping people out. It's been a while. I don't know if she's there all the time, but I know she's been on the Discord before. Okay. I want to add in a flip option for the arms. All right, so this is like our labels. We have be able to set the values here. Let's add in. I want to make this just for each individual component. So I'm going to change this here. Rather than being left arm, right arm, it's just going to say, I'm just going to make this be rotation. And the subject is going to be our left arm. Position, spacing, and I'm going to change this from being spacing to X position, and then Y position here. I'm gonna make it so we can edit the arms independently. Yeah, as I'm working on this, I'm finding that, oh, you know what? I really want this just to be a single node that we're modifying. Node.y value here like this. When we start up, I'm going to set my own value equal to node.position.y. So it's going to just pull in the previous value there. Okay. For our spacing slider, and this maybe shouldn't be a spacing slider, it should now probably be called our X position. Okay. Node X position value. We're going to make it so that this the starting value is going to be a node.position.x. What I want to do now on this slider as well, make it between -100 and +100. They'll find the previous value here. We're going to connect this up. We're going to make this all part of the right arm right now. Right arm. And then in our top level, we can say what our subject is. We can add a thing here saying subject, and we can pull that subject down. You'll notice that we have a single node here. This one is also based off a node. So there's some similarities here that I'm discovering as we go. Arms. Really want this just to be right arm. Let's make sure this is all. Am I selecting the right thing? Right arm, right arm, right arm. Rotation slider, right arm. Like this. I think one last thing here in our sprite grid. Let's make our sprite grid one more time. Let's update our sprite. I want to open this script sprite. I think this file is named something weird. Sprite selection grid. Okay. So instead, this is interesting because this one's shouldn't be a node. It's a node that has, this one should just be a sprite 2D. This one's a little bit trickier because the subject here, sprited 2D, the subject is not the same. So we kind of gotta figure something out related to that. But now we're just adjusting the right arm. So the right arm can come up. We probably want to have an exact value also, so you can adjust it, but we want to be able to adjust these independent of each other. Yeah. And I'm sort of cooking here, my brain, I'm sort of having a little bit of a cook idea. Oh, I want to get this yellow. Why is it? That's interesting that it's this. Oh, I know why. I know why. It's because the parent, I adjusted this here. The parent here, let's reset this. Go to our right arm instead. This should be the modulated color here. Swatches, this one here like that. And now this one is what has our modulated color on it. There we go. Now the color picker will let me get this yellow color in here, which is what I was going for previously. Get that arm, move the Y position, move the X position and out, rotation. All right. All right, I want to add in a mirror option so we can mirror that sprite. Mirror X, mirror Y. Yeah, so our students, so again, the students are learning how to use the different UI components. We have sliders, we have buttons, we got the color picker. We're gonna have a toggle next. So it's a checkbox that toggles on and off. Where is my VS Code here? My VS Code window. Do I have a VS Code window for this currently? I must have closed it on accident. There it is. And git commit -m beat separate separate. What am I doing here? Coaxed. 25 minutes. You're close. You're close. Separate single arm options. So we have a single arm option. The cool thing here that I'm realizing is that this specific container here, we can attach this to any node here. The one trouble here is that we have a sprite. The sprite is kind of separate. So I'm noticing there's like some minor difference here. The type of sprites that show up change as well. But what would be cool is if you click on this and it changes the subject that you're modifying. It'll change the subject. So one thing I kind of want to see if I can add in here is, can I make it so when I click on this arm, it loads the arm's properties in, and then we're modifying that arm. The other, the other thing is, let's add in, there's so many things I want to add in. We're going to add in a toggle here. We're going to add in a toggle first. I'm going to duplicate this. This is sort of our label thing here. This is going to be a toggle here. We're going to say flip X. And this is, instead of being a rotation slider here, we want to add in a new child node. Is there a toggle? Check box. Check button. So we can flip X on or off here. And this will actually make the negative value change on our node target here. So it's going to be our flip X button. This is going to be a flip X toggle. And we'll go ahead and create a new script for this. It's going to be a flip X toggle. And one more thing here is, all right, let's do an extends, class name, flip X toggle. When we start up here, we're gonna need an export var node 2D. And we might need to start calling these things targets. I might just call them targets instead, target. And we'll add in here, the flip toggle here, the is toggled. Yeah, so we're gonna say toggled dot connect. When we toggle here, we're gonna call our handle, we'll just call toggle. Func. Really, we can call this flip X. And we have an input here, flipped bool like this. Flip X, we're gonna get the value that comes in for it here. The Godot engine uses GDScript, which is a built-in custom language for Godot. There's also support to use C#, which I've done a little bit. I'm a big fan of C# in general. I've struggled with using C# in Godot, but I haven't given it a fair shake. What I'll say is I haven't given it a fair shake, but it is possible. Target dot scale X is going to be equal to 1 or -1 here. And so we're going to say if flipped. Can I do this? -1. Missing a colon. Else target.scale.x equals 1. And one other thing we want to pull in here is we want to set our default scale here on whether this thing is toggled. Can I set the value? Let's go look. Our flip. I'm sure in our inspector we can go find this. Disabled layout. How do I know whether this is on or off? Toggled, button pressed on. All right, so it's button pressed. Button pressed is going to be equal to target. So we'll say if target dot scale x greater than 0. Button, really it's less than 0. Button pressed equals true. So that would mean it would be flipped here. All right, let's try this. We got to add in our subject. The subject here is our right arm. Now we can flip it. There we go. So we can flip that arm around if we want. Flip X. So we can have a little dance right here. Boom, boom, down, down, down. Move it up a little bit. Yeah, look at that. I'm having a lot of fun with this. This is super fun for me. Bring that arm in and out. We can change the color like so. We can adjust which arm type we have. Perfect. We're having a lot of customizability coming through. Students now learning about Y positions, X position, rotations, sliders, this flip here, color picker. What do we want to, let me do a commit here. Let's do a commit. They've learned about grids. This project is all, pardon me. It's all about learning about the UI elements in Godot. Chill Boy, thank you so much for the follow. Chill Boy, oh Chill Boy, I'd like to welcome you to the stream. Chill Boy, oh Chill Boy, hope you enjoy the stream today. Thank you so much for the follow, I appreciate it. Welcome aboard, welcome to Captain Coder's Academy. Okay, we have our Flip X. We have our sprite modifications here. One thing I would like to be able to do, notice I have to set this target in each one of these things. One thing that would be nice is if these had there's like a generic target that is currently being selected. So it'll be easy to switch between our targets. So I think what I want to do is I want to add a script to here. This VBox container, that's this whole thing that we're looking at right here. This is going to be our sprite modifier. So I'm gonna write a script here. It's gonna be our sprite or our component controller. Component controller. This is the thing that's letting us modify our component. It doesn't have to be a VBox container. But this one thing has this specific target, export target var target. This happens to be our node 2D that we're modifying. You'll notice each one of our subcomponents has this node 2D, except for the sprite one. We're gonna have to figure out how to do the sprite one a little bit more intelligently. And essentially the children components we'll have a reference this to use this. Snabble Yellow. Hello. How you doing, Snabble? Hope you're having a beautiful day. Class name. This is going to be our component controller. Maybe call it monster component controller. I'm not sure. But the idea is that these children objects, we want them to go find the component controller and use the node that's part of the component controller. Been doing a bit of math, shader math, very nice. Anything fun to share with us today? Folks, Snabble is our resident shader enthusiast. I'm hesitant to call anyone else an expert, but certainly more of an expert than myself, but absolutely a shader enthusiast. Doing all kinds of cool stuff here. So what we could do is, rather than having these be export values, I want to get it from my parent. This might be a good opportunity to make I'm wondering here, let's go here. Can I make just a control here? If I put this, no, it doesn't wrap it correctly the way I want here. I suppose this thing here, I guess I could do it this way. Let's create an empty parent. We're gonna call it we're gonna make it a margin container. Okay. This is going to be our component controller. Call this component. No, not a new script. We want to attach the component controller like this. We'll go into our VBox here. This, we're going to go ahead and drop this. Clear. This is going to become our scene component controller. And our component controller has these references. So we can actually reference the owner here. And we know that the owner happens to be a component controller. So we can do onReady var controller, component controller equals owner. You can set it so that this thing knows the controller. We get rid of node now. And instead this becomes controller.target.modulate. So we no longer have these direct references. This is going to allow us to change this more easily between them. So this is a refactor we're going through here. So we have to do this for all of these. Okay. Controller.target. Like so. Controller.target here. Zach, welcome back to the stream. Howdy, howdy, howdy. How you doing, friend? I hope you're having a beautiful Sunday. I'm having a blast so far today. We're having a lot of fun. Controller.target. Controller.target. We're working on our monster editor. I'm finally feeling like I'm coming to the conclusion on, or coming through with a lot of the ideas on how I'm going to make this work. I'm having a lot of, it's really exciting here. Already got the controller there, sprite position. How, not necessarily I'm going to work, but how I'm going to teach my students these things. I decided the goal of this project is all about doing UI, learning about the UI nodes. Many of the, not all of them, but a lot of different UI nodes. That's the purpose of this project. And it's not about, this project's not about learning how to do lots of stuff with code, fancy things with code, like organizing code in specific ways. It's about specifically, this is where I'm gonna run into the control. We need to have this be our controller dot sprite here. We're gonna have to add a sprite to our controller. Var sprite 2D. I think I got all of these in here. I might have missed one or two. But now if I go back to my maker scene, I don't know how much of this you've seen before either. Our target is right arm. Our sprite is our right arm sprite. All right, so I didn't quite VBox in there, so it can't, oh, not a VBox there. It extends really it doesn't need to extend anything. Those weren't set now. Did they get reset here? Node, has to export it node. Extends, we'll go with node 2D. Really, it's a control here like this. Just install Proton Scatter, Height Map Train, Godot Gardener as plugins and do some amazing work without any code at all. That would be some great motivation for students who want to go 3D and beyond. Absolutely, Zoomer, Boomer, Toomer. Cat, welcome to the stream. Absolutely, I think so. A lot of it is about inspiring people to get excited about doing something new. That said, it depends on what are we trying to learn. That's a lot of tools to learn all in one go. I have a little question. If I don't have much know-how on programming, regardless of language, how would you suggest I start learning game dev? So programming and game dev are two different skills that are kind of tangential. Stay away from tutorial. It's a little bit tricky to do that. Like, how do you get started as a beginner without going through a tutorial, without reading a book? My personal preference, and this is just because I come from a background of programming, is to learn programming and game dev kind of separate. You can learn them together, but they're both very challenging and different skill sets. And I personally have found the students that I have that are most successful learn programming, learn game dev, and then combine them. So learning about the tool without doing much code is okay. Learning how to program without doing game dev is, I think, particularly important to be successful in the long run. You can learn them both at the same time, but it's a challenge. It's challenging to learn both. All right. So we're setting this up. We're connected to our right arm here. We have our rotation. We have our position. We have these things going on. We can adjust the color here. Like that. We can set these different things like that. As a warm-up, leak code is a good idea. I find leak code's a little bit beyond someone who has no programming background. Small inspiring things such as a game of life, then I'd go straight. Yeah, so these are things you're suggesting that are beyond someone who hasn't done any program before. Then go straight into Godot. I actually think you can go straight into I'm not saying you're wrong. That's just I think leak code is a challenge, really, really challenging for people who have no programming background ever. I actually, depending on what language you want to learn, if you want to learn C#, learn C#. These are the books I would recommend. There's a paid book called C# Player's Guide. I think it's fantastic. There's a free book called The Yellow Book that is absolutely wonderful. Good magical afternoon, Java or Java source. So welcome. Learn code, then learn an engine. I think learning the code is really important. I think leak code risks making you think you are not good enough to do. Exactly. Snabble, exactly. It's a dangerous place to go. Leak code is for people who want to practice data structures and algorithms and algorithmic thinking, which I actually think are different from programming. I think those are important skills, but I actually think learning the basics of programming, like what is a variable, what is an if statement, I would dare to inject my opinion and say you're completely wrong. Go for it. This community is all about being wrong. The first step is understanding basics of programming. Yeah, but for me, it's like, what is a variable? What is an if statement? What is the three things? What is sequencing, selection, and iteration? How do I get my program to run in order? Understand that things run in a specific order. How do I get my program to make a decision based on values? Selection, if statements, switch expressions, switch statements, learning how to get to break the flow of control, and then iteration, which is loops and recursion. So the same for coordinate if, loops, breaks. For most languages, I would agree. Yeah, for many, many languages, they're the same. Conceptually, it's they're the same thing. Some languages don't have if. Some languages don't have loops. Some languages don't have those things. There's a little bit more to it. There we go. Having fun with this. What I'd like to do next is be able to change our subject. So here's the cool part about this. Now that I have this set up, we can actually change the subject to our left arm. Left arm's right. This is the part that's a little bit annoying to me. Now we're modifying our left arm here. What I want to do is make it so when we click on these things, it says what we're modifying. It's a bit tricky to learn both language and game dev. I agree. I tried that and got much information over it, but you can start, I guess, learning basic scripts on languages before diving into game dev. I agree with that. I personally am a big fan of learning programming and game dev separately and then combining. I tell people spend at least 20 hours learning how to program. Spend at least 20 hours making a game without writing any programming. Then spend the time at least, and that's just get the very basic. I'm trying to write a game to teach JavaScript. How would you go about introducing basic programming to the user in an unobtrusive way while not blocking gameplay? This is the challenge. This is the challenge. Specifically with JavaScript is challenging. Oh, so you're saying you're wanting to write a game that teaches JavaScript. Have you played any of the Zachtronic games? Uncommented? I'd say go check out some. If you haven't played Zachtronic games, this is a series of games that I think teach programming in really interesting ways. These are all unconventional languages here. The one I might look at specifically, this isn't doing JavaScript, but Exapunks is one that I've used successfully in my classrooms, where students learn to essentially learn about multi-threading and writing a little bit of assembly. But I would look at how this game does it, and you can do interesting things with this. Another one, I accidentally closed my chat. Hang on, let me bring it back up. There's another game that I think is really decent. Those games break your brain. They're challenging, right? They are very challenging. One of the things I really like about Exapunks is there's an API you can make your own levels. And so when I use Exapunks, I actually make my own levels. To work as coding surf? Yeah, that's right, Snabble. There's an idle JavaScript game. Another game you might want to look at, Bitburner, I think is what it's called, Bitburner. Go look at Bitburner. They make it, it's a game, it's not necessarily about learning. Yeah, it's Bitburner. Let me get the link for you. This game isn't about learning JavaScript, but you play it by writing JavaScript. So you might want to consider looking at how this game uses JavaScript as a game mechanic. And then you say, oh, this is how they're doing it in this specific way. Bitburner is an interesting idle game that you write scripts that run repeatedly. This game doesn't teach you JavaScript, but it doesn't teach you much of anything, actually. You can apply those skills. In 2077, there's only JavaScript. Oh, help us all. No, I kid. It's true, you never stop learning Zoomer. I agree with that 100%. You don't simply learn game dev, you learn things that you need to do. The hardest thing, in my opinion, is to overcome the most basic of rules of programming, to get yourself into the mindset until you are comfortable. Look, I have been programming for over 25 years, and I just recently started considering myself a non-novice game dev. I've been doing game dev for about 2 years. And I would say for the first 14, 15 months, I really felt very, very novice at it. I'm just now starting to feel like I'm pretty decent. Fruit Superman, welcome back to the stream. Prime Mover is also great. Haven't done that one. Programming, you're always gonna be learning. I learn new things all the time. I'm learning new things all the time. Right now, I'm learning all these new things in Godot, and I've been programming for years and years and years, and I learn new things almost every single day, I would say. Okay, I think I need to make a script specifically that has the node and the sprite associated with it, so that our target component, I think I need to make a script that is going to be a monster component, like this. Feels almost overkill. Class name monster component, but this needs to have the sprite associated with it. So it's like the parent here, and then there's a sprite underneath that we find. So we're gonna do an export var sprite 2D like this. We'll attach this here, and really it just has the sprite inside of it. We could also say that it always has to have a node with a sprite inside. I hate the idea of having it be connected just that way. So our sprite 2D, we'll have to connect all these.
You in the
But
back.
now,
Pay attention.
the reason we're doing this is that this can be a monster component controller like this. What did I call it? Monster component, not a controller. Monster component, and this is a component controller. That makes sense. And now we have to go fix one thing here in our sprite selection. It's controller dot target dot sprite. Now I think this will still continue to work. Position is nil. What did I oh, it's because this, hang on, we need to make it so that this happens to be, what if I do this? I want to change type. What if I make this a monster component? It'll automatically add that, and then we assign the child sprite like that. All right. There we go. We can adjust the colors, position, we can flip it. Like okay, so we're getting this monster maker going. Sky Ninja, welcome back. May I show my baby kitty? She's about 2 months old. If not a bit more, yeah, go for it. Go for it. Share it with us, and you can also drop it into Discord as well. Okay, so we got the arm moving. Some another components we want to do. All right, so let's go ahead and do a commit before I get too off here. We're gonna make it so our script here also makes so if you click on this thing, we're gonna have an area collider or something that we can click on to select it, and it could be based off of our sprite. I'm super excited about this part. Our monster components, yeah. Okay, let's come in here. We're gonna make a commit. Feed add monster component type. Go and push that up. We want to make it, I want to make it so we can click on this thing. These need to have a name. Okay, so I'm going to add, it could just be the name here. I'm going to make it so that this script, let's close all of these. Our component, I'm going to do an export var name. It's going to be a string. So we can set the name of these things as well. Lowercase string? What is this complaining about? Name, can't redefine name. Oh, okay. Component name. Because it's saying the name up here, yeah. Let's check them out. Thank you for the pictures. I'm not blurring because I don't trust you. I'm blurring to make sure. I'm blurring out of habit, out of practice here, because I often forget to blur when I open up links. Ooh, look at this cute kitty. Yeah, I don't distrust Sky Ninja at all. It's just a habit I need to get into. So I often open up links without thinking about it. So it's a habit I'm trying to form. Look at this cat. What's your cat's name? That pretty kitty. Pretty kitty. Love it. Love it. Thank you so much for sharing, Sky Ninja. Beautiful cat. Points. Add real Sky Ninja. 500 points. What a beautiful kitty. I love it. Maraca. Oh, I think you already said that. Yeah. Maraca. What a great name for a cat. We do have to wrap up here, folks. I do have to wrap up for the day. I want to add in, before I do though, I want to make it so that we can actually click on these. A couple things. Lance wants to get a hat in. There's so many things I want to get done. I guess we got to get out of here, actually. Do you shake a lot? You asking me if I shake a lot? Thank you for the hats. We got one hat. People got to get those hats in before I wrap up. Thank you guys so much for the hats. I will be back tomorrow, folks. I keep saying I'm going to be on the Discord, and then I find myself just not. I'm kind of sick, so I won't be on the Discord. Here's what I'm going to say. I want to be in the voice channel on the Discord later today. I'm hoping that will happen. Thank you for the hat. I'm hoping that will happen. If you want to hang out with me on the Discord, feel free to join. My goal is to be on there later today. I might end up just taking a nap. I have some stuff. I'm going out canvassing later today. So I'm not going to be able to spend a ton of time doing other stuff, but I want to come back and finish. We will be back tomorrow, but I hope you guys will consider joining the Discord, hanging out with us over there. It's been such a pleasure. You guys are all so awesome. A couple things, a few notes of promotion before we go here. A few promotional notes before we go. Mechanically challenged. Keep an eye out next Wednesday. I need to update this command. Mechanically challenged. The next mechanically challenged will be coming out on Wednesday. We have a new challenger. Biggs is going to be challenging us to do something. If you want to know what that event, what the challenge is going to be sure to go check out Mechanically Challenged. We'll be back on a Wednesday with that. We are also doing Solo Game Jam coming up on August 23rd. So 26 days away. This is going to be super awesome. Be sure if you want, this is a solo game dev challenge. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be super fun. Yeah, I'm still Red Cabin with the raid. Red Cabin Games is here. Raiding the captain. Coder today. Red Cabin, how was your streams? Jonas, welcome in. Jonas, I got to get a link to your game, Space Scavenger 2, folks. Space Scavenger 2. Go make sure you wishlist this game. This game's coming out any day now. Maybe not any day now. Go check out Space Scavenger 2. Jonas, how the heck was your stream? If you got a raid and run, no worries. Thank you so much for the raid. Love having you here, my friend. We're in the process of wrapping up. So if you have another suggestion, raid target, let us know. What we are working on here, we're actually playing around with Godot. We're building out a monster creator kit. So this is a class project, and students are going to learn about using Godot UI tools. So we're making a monster creator here where students can actually change out the shapes, learn how to position them. They're learning about vectors, positioning, creating these monsters. We're gonna make it so that they can actually create screenshots of these, take their monsters, combine them off into stuff. Went well, glad to hear it. Demo's coming out any day game, any day game, still a year away. Yeah, the demo's coming out, Jonas, August 20th. I haven't had signups yet because I want to make sure I want to make sure Two Nerdy Nerds, there's several people I want to make sure get dibs on it. But August 20th, that's going to be a Saturday, is my next showcase. If you're available, oh, I'm liar. August 17th. August 17th. I'm so wrong about that. I've been telling people the 20th. August 17th, the actual Saturday. So I've been hoping to make sure you, Two Nerdy Nerds, Volt, all have dibs on getting in there first. That's why I haven't actually made a post about it yet, but August 17th is the third Saturday. We're gonna be doing our showcase. All right, folks, we gotta wrap up here. I gotta get out. I gotta take care of my dogs. We got so much to do. Join the Discord. Folks, join the Discord. I'll be hanging out over there later today, I hope. Thank you guys so much for being here. We'll be back tomorrow. Let's go. Speaking of Two Nerdy Nerds, let's go raid Two Nerdy Nerds, folks. Two Nerdy Nerds, incredible Godot developers. Let's get a raid out to them. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I will be back tomorrow for some more. We're building out this game project. It's gonna be so much fun. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Remember to keep coding. Remember to keep growing. Remember to keep being the best you can be. You're welcome back anytime. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.